A very good afternoon and warm welcome to live stream coverage of this T20 Blast match between the Kent Spitfires and the Hampshire Hawks. My name is Dave Fulton, former Kent captain, and alongside me is Cameron Emmanuel Burns, who's already commentated on a breathtaking win for Kent's women's side. The horses off the last ball of the day. Will we be in store for something equally as thrilling? We certainly hope so. Beautiful day here at the Spitfire ground, St Lawrence. A little bit cooler than it has been in the last week or so. Nice breeze blowing across the ground, although it is playing havoc with our papers. But as you can see there, the guard of honour, that is Sissinghurst Cricket Club, ready to welcome the players. The news from the toss is that Kent have won it. They've had a bowl. Cam, you saw the earlier game. This pitch looked like it took a little bit of spin. Maybe a slight surprise that they haven't batted under these conditions.
Yes, exactly that. Spin, especially from the pavilion end, it seemed to grip and turn. Actually, quite a bit of bounce as well. It'll be interesting to see what that means for this game going forward. A short leg side boundary once again. We're getting to crunch time now in the Blast, aren't we? Kent need a few wins here, playing against a very strong Hampshire Hawks side. It's going to be in for a treat, I hope.
Yeah, Hampshire Hawks very much the form team of the South Group. They lost their opening fixture away at Taunton. Somerset no longer in this group, of course. It's one of the crossover games that Hampshire played. They lost to Somerset, but they won the next 6, including a nail-biter against Yorkshire the other night, their other crossover game. So Kent started strongly with wins over Middlesex and Sussex. They then lost to Essex, bounced back in style by beating Surrey at the Oval. So 3 from 4, and things were looking pretty at that point. But they've lost their last 3. Lost to Sussex at Hove, lost at Chelmsford, and lost the other night to Nottinghamshire. So not a little run you want to get on, as Cam says, at the business end of this competition. Still 5 games to go. Probably got to win, what do you think, 4 of the remaining 5 to be in with a decent shout. Their current 4th position in the group.
I think so. I think we're looking 4 to be safe-ish, 3 and you're looking over your shoulder. But it has to start today. Tough one. I agree with what you're saying, with a bit of surprise and then bowling first, but at the same time, I think they like a chase here. We've seen a few times the batters come out. They know how to chase down totals here at the St Lawrence ground, so I think they're going back to what's tried and tested for them, and hopefully that serves them well.
Yep, and there is the short side of the ground. We can see the back of Sam Billings there, the captain. He's been in really good touch. Wonderful 80-odd at Lords in double quick time, and he was in good touch the other night as well. 64 off 38, 5 sixes against Nottinghamshire in the Kent's total of 184 for 7. It was chased down, and it was chased down, I wouldn't say comfortably, but Nottinghamshire got over the line, and that may be a factor in them deciding to have a chase this time around. When you've lost batting first, quite often you want to do the opposite. Kent are not a bad chasing side, as we see the youngsters from Sissinghurst Cricket Club. You can see the flags blowing. That breeze is going straight across the ground towards the short side, so you'll be hitting to the short side and downwind, so expect the dimensions of the ground and the wind direction to play a part today. I'll run you through the teams in just a second, and a very rare thing, they're actually the same as is printed on a scorecard, and that doesn't happen much, so that makes life a little easier. So the Hampshire team inserted by Sam Billings. James Vince, the captain, the record run scorer in the history of the Blast. In fact, we've got the 2 leading run scorers in the history of the Blast, because of course Joe Denley is on the Kent side. He's number 2 in that list. So James Vince, who's a little underwhelming by his very high standards in this competition this year. Toby Albert, Joe Weatherly played really nicely against Yorkshire the other night. Ben Mays, England under-19 batter. Look forward to seeing him. The experienced and wily Liam Dawson with his batting and his miserly left arm spin. Tristan Stubbs, one of the overseas players. Hilton Cartwright, the other one. And James Fuller, Scott Curry, Chris Wood and Sonny Baker, who only a week or so ago was flying in at the Oval in the Test match, left out of that squad, and he is now here. So the Kent side still without Tawanda Miyeye, that concussion still proving problematic. So Harry Finch, Daniel Bell Drummond, Zach Crawley, the informed Billings, Joe Denley, Chris Benjamin, who's having a fine season, Grant Stewart, good to see him back on the park, Jake Lintott, who's been excellent for Kent but went round the park the other night against Nottinghamshire, Keith Dudgeon, Matt Milnes and Fred Klassen. So that is your Kent Spitfire team to take on top of the table Hampshire Hawks, as we wait for the players. And by my watch, they should be coming out any second now. That is Vince and Albert. Just looking at Vince's numbers, he's got 500s and 47 50s in the Blast. 58 game won, 45 against Middlesex. Not much else to write home about. Just got a horrible feeling he might be due.
Yes. Yeah, only 130 odd runs this season. It's unlike Vince, churns them out like no one's business. And but as you say, he's been going quite a good lick, striking at over 150. As you say, he's due, but hopefully not today.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be a bit of a trade-off, that strike rate of over 150 with that accelerating of his career strike rate. He strikes in the history of the Blast at 139, so striking a bit quicker, but perhaps one or two of his dismissals have been brought about by that desire to accelerate the innings at the start. You might just hear over our effects mic the dulcet tones of the great Ben Roddy of Marlow pantomime fame. He is Kent's announcer today. He's been whipping the crowd up as only he can. And what a day to watch T20 Blast cricket. A bit cooler than it has been. Stifling on Friday. Sort of up in the mid to high 30s. Not a lot of air conditioning around the ground. So yeah, nice breeze. And excellent conditions on what should be a decent surface. Although, as you said, just gripped a little bit.
I'll be honest, I'm very intrigued to see how it goes in this first little set here for the Kent bowlers. Because the seam actually, some went through pretty nicely for the women's earlier, but some kept pretty low.
Yeah, it's difficult to know sometimes, isn't it? Because you know, whilst they're the same game, they're also slightly different games. You know,
yeah.
Could be women bowling in 65 miles an hour as opposed to guys who are bowling sometimes
Absolutely.
in the mid 80s. So that that can be a factor in terms of the bounce. But yeah, generally if a wicket spins for the women, it'll spin for the men as well. So it's we'll wait and see. So it's going to be Keith Dudgeon entrusted with the new ball. He's got the slope taking it away from the two right-handers at the crease.
Let's do the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get behind your Kent Spitfires!
And a player miss straight away. And Toby Albert been in good touch, likes to get on with it. I mean, who doesn't these days in T20 cricket? You're not going to have too many lurkers at the top of the innings, are you? Power play, opportunity to give it a crack. It's just got Matt Milnes right in front of us here. Looks like he's going to bowl the second over, some quite vigorous warm-ups. Interesting to see how Billings marshals these early overs.
Keith Dudgeon now the only overseas out there for Kent, as we know. Unfortunately, the injury to Rogers, we've not been graced too much luck this season on that front, and with Dean Forrester heading off to the States, playing the MLC. So now Keith Dudgeon is really the man for all formats for us.
And nicely bowled from Dudgeon, so not often you see 3 dots at the start of a T20 Blast innings. Yeah, he's been terrific, hasn't he? Time cut short last year with that ACL injury after he took all those wickets in the first game at Wantage Road. High hopes at Kent. Decided to stick with him, and he has repaid that trust. He's been excellent. You see another player miss, and that ball barely carrying to Sam Billings. So just some early signs, and it can happen when you've had a lot of hot sun on a surface and baking over the last few days. It can suck the life out of it, and just the early indications, even with the hard new ball, this could be a slightly sluggish surface. And the women's game was a low-scoring one, albeit an exciting one.
Perfect start.
Yep, 5 dots. And we talked about 3 dots being rare. Not often you start with a maiden. So
Some someone who I think might get a good run out today is that of Mr. Denley. Compared to the Notts, there's a lot of right-handers in this Hawks batting lineup. And as I say, a bit of turn earlier. Expect to see the great man.
And there is the maiden. So well bowled, Keith Dudgeon. So just good old-fashioned line and length. Maybe some subtle changes of pace. I didn't see any outrageous or slower balls out the back of the hand or anything trying to cut or such like. Just hit a good area and let the pitch do the rest.
Well, it continues a trend from the pavilion end. There was 3 maidens when the Northhand bowlers were bowling earlier from that end, and now one for us. Keith Dudgeon, excellent start. Matt Mills can be partnering him. Martin Rodin, he's been in tremendous form for us again across all formats. Especially the other night, he was excellent.
Yep, playing against his former club, Nottinghamshire. He's been terrific in all formats. Say all formats, only played a couple since he's been back, of course, but yeah, really good bowler and a terrific signing. Great to see him back here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Vince goes here. He is the epitome of class, especially in this tournament, as we've mentioned earlier. You know, he's had the best of seasons for his standard, and the other over, will that make him go a bit harder even? Who knows to begin with?
Yeah, I think he'll want to have a little look. I mean, that's the thing when you're only playing one format, or principally one format.
They'll take the single, take on the arm with Bell Drummond. Oh, there'll be buzzers here. Backing up. Not successfully done by Finch there. And they scamper through for 2. Bit sloppy that.
Yeah, it was sloppy from Kent. And yeah, the throw from Bell Drummond, you always say to players, aim at the base of the stump, and it gives the guy backing up an opportunity to get his distance right. The throw was kind of Bale height, which meant it bounced a bit close to the backing up Harry Finch, who deflected it past the next man. So yeah, very sloppy.
Oh, there we go. That's a hoik, but well timed from Vince. Over Bell Drummond's head this time, in the same area. This one races away to before, and they're off and running with their boundaries for today.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a kick in the teeth when you've just gifted them an extra overthrow. Gets Vince back on strike and just swats it away. A couple of bounces and over the rope. And I think it is that kind of wicket where you might have to muscle a few. But disappointingly, looks like it's skipped over the boundary boards and gone through the fence. So it'll take a little while to come back.
Interesting length to play that shot to, I thought. Pretty full. It's got underneath it. It's not really a shot I would associate with Vince, actually.
Yeah, well, you associate the kind of elegant cover drive with James Vince, but he's one of his great strengths and the benefit of having played for so long. He's 35 years of age. You don't score 6,500 blast runs without being able to bat on all types of different surface and recognising what's required. And if it's a kind of hard and fast and true surface, you can lean on a cover drive. But if it's a bit slow, a bit sluggish, sometimes you just got to baseball a couple across the line, and his eye is still good enough to do that.
Ooh, it might be. With that, Bell Drummond's being moved out to the boundary, and up comes deep point. Response here from Mills. Big appeal. Not given. Perhaps going down. We'll see a replay for that.
Yeah, my instinct was just sliding on the angle as we have another little look at it. Yeah,
Yes.
it was definitely missing leg stump, but Albert was interested in the single and he had to scurry back. But yeah, Vince is, you can see when he's taking guard and he doesn't move much, not a pronounced trigger. He's not going to go in front of his stumps, so he won't get LBW much.
Chinese cut, and the backing up a lot more successful this time.
Yeah, they got the field in the right spot here. Generally, when a wicket is slow, it means it's harder to hit through the offside. So we saw the boundary that Vince swatted over Daniel Bell Drummond. That is the area that most batters will target on a slow surface, easier to hit that way. It's quicker, you can lean through the offside a little bit. So Billings has adjusted very quickly.
Sharp taking single there to the short third. Gets through. 7 off the over. Hampshire Hawks 7 for none after 2. But I also guess with that field set, it allows Milnes to really hone in on the stumps, to go as straight as he can. Perhaps a bit of variable bounce. Also taking out, as we were saying, that arc of Vince, as we know how much he likes it through that offside. Go as straight as possible to him.
Yep, I agree with that. Generally, if you can bowl gun barrel straight, it means it's difficult to hit through square cover and backward point, particularly if there's not a lot of bounce in the deck. So cover your leg side boundaries, aim at the stumps, and that is generally a recipe for success. But Vince has seen it all before. Hutton's going to continue, no surprise there after his maiden. Just wonder whether, if I was James Vince, I'd be thinking of using my feet. Trying to hit down the ground. As well taken single. So Albert, none off 6. Just start to get a bit twitchy as a batter in a T20 game when you're none from 6. Just flicks this one away towards the hospital side of the ground. So Albert is off and running, but Harry Finch expertly positioned. So interestingly for Keith Dudgeon, and perhaps because of the slope of the ground, there's a deep point and a deep backward square on the leg side. If he's going to move it, he'll generally move it down the slope, maybe a bit of swing as well. But you'll take the odd wide. Sam Billings won't mind the odd leg side wide if it means you're not offering up too much width.
Yeah, perhaps because of, as you're saying, the slope, this time they've gone with a different field set to Vince. Protection on both sides here.
Not sure what cricket James Vince has had in the couple of weeks where his teammates have been playing championship cricket, white ball only of course these days, based predominantly in Dubai I believe. Going to get a boundary here, just a kind of flick pull shot, it's gone very fine. That runs up the hill for his second boundary. So Dudgeon trying not to give width, just a little bit to leg side, although I don't know about that. Vince gave himself a bit of room, not quite where he intended. Yeah, just sometimes tough to get a bit of rhythm, isn't it? You play 6 T20 games, just starting to find your feet a bit, and then you've got a couple of weeks off. Pulling, diving effort at mid-wicket, but it was always just falling short, and Dudgeon on that occasion a little bit too short, and that is trademark Vince. So back-to-back boundaries, that one slightly more convincing, albeit not quite out of the middle of the bat.
Crawley there with a diving effort. Had one obviously just go down, gets knots. It would have been spectacular, that one would have been equally so. And with that, change of field once more. A little bit of following it here, where each time the boundary's gone through the mid-wicket region, now goes the fielder.
Yep, cover up, mid-wicket back. I think that's right though.
Oh, you can see Vince trying to use his...
Yeah, off-pace delivery, so clever cricket all round. Vince trying to give himself a bit of room to access that offside with that cover point coming up, and Dudgeon just taking the pace off, making it almost impossible to hit an off-cutting delivery through the offside. Takes the single, keeps the strike. So Vince going along quite nicely, but just the single, 19 without loss after 3.
Change of bowling here. The Nacton Road end is Mr. Fred Clarkson coming on after a superb 4 overs against Notts. But for just 22 in that defeat on Friday, bowled superbly. Hopefully we'll carry on that kind of form. Hasn't taken as many wickets as perhaps he would have liked to so far in the competition. As I say, bowled very nicely on Friday night. Classic Vince there. Is it going to go? It has done. A lofted cover drive, beautifully done, races away. That's the Vince that I've watched for many a year.
Yeah, a bit kind of up there and out there, wasn't it? A bit floaty from Klassen, and
No.
Vince climbed into it. Interesting, the other night against Notts, the kind of crossover fixture, because Notts and Kent, I can't recall them ever having played in a T20 game. A quarter-final I can remember, actually, years ago at Trent Bridge, but only 1 or 2 meetings tops.
Again, not well directed. This time Clarkson tried to readjust. It was too wide the ball before. This one too straight on Vince's hip. And he swiveled on it, and that's one that's easily been put away towards the Oriole Cafe, number 4.
And my point is simply that sometimes you get used to the opposition. So Hampshire would have seen a lot of Fred Klassen over the years. Notts, not so much. So, you know, his way of thumping his shorter one into the pitch and maybe rolling his fingers across one. And similarly, or conversely, Jake Lintott, they had seen a lot of.
Crunched. Triple boundaries here. That one's gone straight down the ground from Vince. Probably the best of the lot there. Just the sound of the bat that made. Vince is seeing them nicely here. He's raced away to 29 or 14. Danger signs here for Kent and for Clarkson.
Yeah, Fred Clarkson's just got to hit that bail height, really. He's got to hit a length. He's gone floaty 4, short 1 pull, and then he's got overcompensated and gone 2 full again, got whacked over his head. That length that Dudgeon was hitting, where you're thumping back of a length and hitting the bails or kind of box height, that is what you've got to look to do to James Vince. If you over pitch, he'll just smack it back past you.
There we go. Was that a
It's a slower ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, slower ball, better length. But even your slower balls, you've still got to hit the right length. You've got to get him right up in the block hole or just hit that back of a length. But yeah, going back to my point, Jake Lintott, who would have played a lot against Notts over the years,
Yeah.
they've had a good look at him. I've got the feeling that some of the Southern Group teams haven't seen that much of him,
That's a good point, yeah.
and his mystery has scuppered a few.
Quick single taken again. And get through. I think that's an excellent point you raise, because from all the games that I've seen, Notts certainly seem to deal with Lintott the easiest.
But it's common sense, I guess. If you've played against a guy 6 or 7 times over the years, maybe more than that, you know, you play home and away, don't you? In the North Group, they've probably taken him down once or twice. Whereas even in the South Group, you've not seen his wrong, and you know you're looking for things that maybe aren't there.
Inside edge there, but still not quite. He's been off strike for quite a while. Gets the run, but not convincing. That's the end of the over, 14 off it. The Hawks 33 for none after 4.
Yeah, and you've got Albert, who's on 2 from 8, and Vince, who's 30 from 16. So Hampshire Hawks will be keen to get their skipper on strike as much as possible. Kent will be keen to bowl at Toby Albert, who's a dangerous player but hasn't quite got going yet. So he is on strike.
Looks like they're sticking with Dodgen full 3 in the power play.
Oh, that nearly dropped on the stumps. So Billings was quickly in there to prevent the single. It was one of those as a batter, you kind of bottom edge it into the floor. You've got no idea where it's gone.
Just looking for that one release, isn't he? Albert. What do you think about bowling Dodgen all the way through the power play? Sometimes a risky tactic, that batsman's.
Well, it's one of those. He might have just decided to do it, Sam Billings, because he saw Albert back on strike. He might not have done it to Vince. It's a nice looking shot to cover his back. And Joe Denny does the fielding, but that's the first one that Toby Albert has hit with any great authority. Back foot punch, nicely timed. And sometimes these surfaces you do have to accept, if they're a bit slow and sluggish, that you need to get yourself in. It can be difficult to start on, but 10, 12 balls and suddenly you start finding your timing and you can start to up your rate. There's going to be 4 more. So Dudgeon's been pulled down in that direction a couple of times by James Vince. Just concerned not to give any width or to over pitch, and he's just gone a bit short and a bit straight. And Vince has, I think what does Dudgeon a bit is Vince tries to give himself that little bit of room, so he kind of follows him, but because the length is slightly short, he can still pull him around the corner.
Well, you understand the ploy from Vince to give himself some room. Everyone's up now on that offside. He's looking to carve it through.
Could be out, chance here. Oh, he's just got the right club. I think is that Crawley back there. I think a slower ball from Dudgeon, cleverly bowled off cutter. And Vince kind of drop kicked it in that direction, but he's hitting it into the wind. I think if the wind had been in the other direction, Crawley might have been able to get in and grab that one, but it just kind of stalled on the breeze and Crawley had too much to do, never a chance.
From our position, it looked for all money it was going down his throat.
Yeah, he might just at the last minute, Vince, have just taken a bit off that. Sometimes you're just aware at the last minute and instinct takes over. This one has been pulled in the same direction by Albert. Crawley fields will just be the single. Yeah, one of the first things I say to youngsters when you go out on the field on a day like today, it's breezy, just be aware where the wind is blowing, because sometimes you see the youngsters, they come flying in and the wind's, you know, going, someone's hitting with the wind, it goes straight over their head, and conversely you just hang back. When the batter's hitting into the breeze, it never gets to you, so it's important to take it into account. There's a better pull shot from Vince, but Dudgeon knows he's got Crawley out there. So just the single. So 3 decent overs from Keith Dudgeon.
He'll take that. 20 in the power play from your 3.
Yep, he's done a good job there. Just need to shore things up from the other end. Klassen's 1 over went for 14, but 41 without loss after 5. It's no great damage done.
Yes, after that 1 over from Clarkson, he's been replaced left to road end by Matt Milnes to finish off this power play. Still an important over this. Pretty in the balance so far, this power play. Can go either way. Again, bit of a smear from Vince. That's going to make its way to the boundary, into someone's tent down here. And as you say, he can score runs all around the ground, and that one, the bottom hand, has certainly come through that. He knows that they're looking to target straight.
Yeah, it's prompted another field change. So long on has gone back. That's Fred Klassen. He's just bottom right of your screen. So there's 2 back on the leg side, deep mid wicket, a long on, and the 2 fielders behind square on the leg side are both on the single.
He can't afford to go short on that leg side now. Those 2 men up. They should, Vince will know this is going to be coming forward at those pegs.
Yeah, and that's sometimes the problem with a field like this, is that as a batter you kind of, you know what's coming, you know that you can't really afford to bowl the short ball, so you can set yourself. And he's done exactly that. That is 6. What a shot that is from James Vince. Slog sweep. Knows it's going to be full and straight. He's got the length he wanted. Down on 1 knee. And this has been a fine start from the Hampshire captain. Just his second 50 of this campaign. Got 58 in the first game against Somerset. In fact, that's the team 50, isn't it? He hasn't quite got there yet, but he's on course. Getting ahead of myself, Cameron. 46 he's on.
Well, this is a tough plan to bowl to for Milnes with this short leg side boundary with the wind as well.
Yeah,
telegraphing it, he's going to be putting it up there.
Man in the blue shirt very much in the game behind that fence, I would suggest. That is the problem with bowling shot. You've got options here as a bowler. You can kind of go wide and set your field on the offside, or you go straight and set your field on the leg side. It's a pitch which suggests the latter, but the dimensions of the ground mean that batters are heading with the wind to the short side.
Again, we've seen a number of under edges so far. It's 5 and a bit overs. Perhaps not quite coming through as the batters are expecting.
I think it'll get harder. I think when spin comes on and field goes back, I think this will be a tough wicket to score on. I think Vince has recognised that, get him early.
And he does, he crunches one back with a square through point. Absolutely slams into the advertising hoardings. 4 runs, too much whip given to a class man. That is his 50.
Yeah, and a very fine 50 indeed. Just 24 balls, striking at over 200, 9 fours, and that slog swept 6, second 50 of the campaign. Got a decent 45 against Middlesex, but that 50 against Somerset prior to today. He's only half century, so that'll make him feel a bit better.
And again, same region. This time Fuller, a bit of a square drive, a lovely shot for 4 to finish off the power play for the Hampshire Hawks, finishing up 59 for none, with Vince with 54 of them. He really has been the main attraction of this power play. And I'm sure the speed will be coming off the ball now. Yes, it looks like Mr. Denley coming on.
Yep, but Joe Denley turning the ball away from the right-handers. And I've been in Toby Albert's position a bit in short form cricket, where you're kind of 4 off 11 and someone's at the other end absolutely smoking it. Albert will know he's got the power to kind of catch things up, but yeah, it can be a little bit daunting when you're at one end and you're struggling to locate the middle of the bat, and there's a guy at the other end making the game look ridiculously easy. You just got to kind of focus and keep your mind clear and keep believing and backing yourself. So here's Denley. See if we can fit any spin from this surface. Starts with the dot, so Albert's going to have to twist in a minute. Not a bad option. Just punch it into the gap and get your skipper on strike. But it's a nice shot. And brilliant bit of work on the long off boundary. I think that's Zach Crawley used those long arms to reel that in, because Vince nailed it through extra cover. And Sam Billings just knows his ground, doesn't he? He's kept in here for so long. The long off fielder down because of the slope. He's always wide here, and that enabled Crawley to read it in. Top this time, another couple.
Vince is playing nicely here, isn't he? Picking those gaps.
Well, he's hitting it hard as well. So it's all young players. If you're going to hit the sweepers, hit the ball hard, because it means they can't just come in and attack it. They've got to go sideways. You've got a good chance of 2. Just nudges this one down the ground, as if to illustrate the point. If you hit it gently like that, different if you're bunting it short of a fielder and scampering back for 2, and you can do that with this leg side field. But if you're hitting it through the offside, and you really want to hit it hard. Reverse. Going to look at where this has gone. It's Lintott again with a tumbling stop. They'll get a couple. So Albert recognising he's just got to up his own rate. So decent over from Denley, but 3 2s in it, 8 off.
Looks like it'll be spin from both ends, with the on-loan man Lintop coming on from Acton Road end. Interesting challenge this for him. He's got the short leg side to deal with, but of course he's got that problem that he can turn it away, but predominantly turns it into the right-handers. Has been excellent all year. Be interested to see how he goes.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see whether getting a little bit of tap the other night against Nottinghamshire has affected him in any way. One would think not, but you never know. But yeah, opportunity here, because you'd imagine that these guys, two right-handed batters, will want to target the leg side. And if they get the length they want, thinking slog sweep with the breeze to the short side, but sometimes that can work in a bowler's favour.
He's gone short. Feels like he's got away with that one, just the one.
Yeah, a bit of a drag down, and got saved by the fact he didn't bounce much, which meant Vince couldn't get underneath it. Just limped back on it like he wanted to hit it up and over.
There's the big shot from Albert. And Albert, it's just over it. It's the short boundary here. Slog sweep, ball turning in. And he gets his count up and running with that 6. He was looking for that, clearly. He needed to release the shackles a bit.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it? Because if you look at those last two deliveries, that was like a perfectly pitched left arm leg spinner's delivery. The one before was a drag down, and actually, as a batter, that's the one you want, that one that lands right in your slot.
Short again. Oh, goodness.
Some pretty ugly cricket, that, because it was almost illustrates the point I was trying to make, that was a halfway down delivery, but it was probably only got about a foot off the floor by the time it reached the batter. And it just meant he couldn't really control his shot. He whacked it back at Lintop, drop catch. Pretty messy cricket all round.
All call back. Oh, and a wayward throw. What are you saying? Pretty messy all this. Diving back in, skewed off the outside edge.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to land it on a length. You land it on a length, you risk the batter slog sweeping you for 6, whereas if you drag it halfway down, it's almost dying before it gets to you.
That one is on the length. He's gone out. Oh, in the gap. Has that gone all the way as well?
Yeah, I had a pretty good look at that. I think it's 6. Yeah. Umpire's arms aloft. It was we are dead square to where that ball bounced. It cleared the rope by about a foot. So yeah, the two that he's landed on a length, Jake Lintop, have both gone for 6. The ones he's landed halfway down have died by the time they've got to the batter. They've been harder to score off.
Respect off that one. It's a tough ask having Lintop on from this end, as you say. Well, he's pitching the ball in the right area. Those are the ones that are vanishing into the flats.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to think about Lintop following Denley. So he's maybe switch his end with his two right-handers, and also he's then turning the ball to the bigger side of the ground. So it's not a bad idea from Sam Billings in the sense that you can see Vince or Albert slog sweep one straight down someone's throat, but play the dimensions of the ground and get him from the other end, I reckon. So change of field again here. Sam Billings ringing the changes. There's no 45, so the little lap sweep is definitely an option, although it's got to go up the hill, so you'd think we'd struggle to get a boundary from that. Nailed that straight as Vince, and Crawley's not going to cut that off, so quality batting. I think the temptation would have been with that 45 moved out to get a little lap in. You'd probably get 2. Why do that when you can just nail it back over his head for 4?
As you said before, having that long off pretty wide does open up if you are able to hit dead straight over the bowler's head. It's a lovely shot. Oh, this is a very interesting field now. If you have a look at the 3 deep on that cover side.
Yeah, 3 deep on the cover side. I just watched Sam Benning's mother walk past our commentary position. Not sure if this field was discussed around the dinner table. Vince just using all his experience, just mixing up the slightly higher tariff shots that bring the boundaries with a single. Just rotate the strike. He's 71 off 34.
He said he was due.
Yeah. And, Albert is behind the runner-ball ratio. He's heaving at that one. You can see the difference here as a run-out. Oh, just hits the batter, but I think it might have struck him on the back of the calf or somewhere. Looks like it hurt him a little bit. He's limping. It's a powerful throw. But that shot there where Vince is kind of timing it and leaning on things, and Albert is heaving at stuff. Billings rings the changes again. Finds the middle of those 3 deep fielders on the offside. And that could be down the throat of Zach Crawley, and is. So Albert never really got going. He hit that one pretty well, in fairness. But big boundary down there. Zach Crawley's a tall man. He just had to come in about a metre or so. And you can see Albert rehearsing the shot, maybe trying to go a bit more into out and over extra cover, use the breeze a touch. But he's gone for 16 off 19, shaking his head, slightly disappointed that he wasn't at his fluent best. Really, it's been all about the bloke at the other end. But 89 for 1. Spitfires get there first, and if they can get Vince and open up both ends, they've very much got a foothold in this game.
Yeah, it's been a pattern a few times in the victories that we've seen. We saw a game against Sussex where the opening partnership and the opening few got off to a great start, but then in this middle phase, take a few wickets, get this set of batsmen out, and Kent were able to squeeze. Important that, even though Albert wasn't looking his fluent best, just good to break the rhythm of it.
So brings Joe Weatherly to the crease. He made a very fine 60 against Yorkshire on Friday night, so he's in good touch. Another right-hander. That was the point you were making about Joe Denley getting a good run out with these right-handers in. The matchup works for him. We've seen the likes of Sussex where they just kind of come left-hander after left-hander after left-hander. So not the case here. Lintop's going to continue.
Are you surprised at all that Matt Parkinson didn't have a look in for this game with all these right-handers?
So Vince coming this one away. Just be the single. To bring Weatherly on strike. Yeah, possibly. I guess if you've got Denley doing that job anyway, then having the variety of Lintop, and like you say, he's got a wrong one, so it's not like it's an off spinner coming into the right handers. He's still got enough mystery, you'd think, to get that one to go the other way. But yeah, Parkinson's done a good job over the last few years in this format in particular.
Weatherly just tidily off the mark. Yeah, kind of a penny for his thoughts, really, because he came in and has done really well for us. Done nothing wrong, especially in this format. What's coming, but has done well also too. Wide delivery that.
Yeah, just trying to keep it away from the arc of Vince, who can slog sweep over that short boundary. So just trying to get him to hit it through the offside.
Shorter club, no, just on the bounce to Dudgeon. Just the one, even though the Christ catch, it was never reaching. But yes, it does look, I don't know if it is intentional, really driving it into the wicket rather than floating up there and letting it turn.
Yeah, pulling it on a slow surface just seems harder than the slog sweep, so it's not a bad length.
Again, cut away for the single. Almost seems a bit of a waste that he doesn't feel he's got the opportunity to get it up there and to turn. Good diving stop, can't prevent the single, but it saves the ball thundering away to the boundary.
There's a point we were talking about earlier, weren't we? The difference between the men's and women's game, where there's more power in the men's game. It just means that probably the ball's not going to be tossed up as much. In the women's game, where sixes are less frequent, you can probably throw the ball up a little bit higher, give it a chance to turn and bounce. And the trouble is, in the men's game, you toss it up, you get smacked out the park, so then it tends to be driven into the pitch a bit more.
On cue, another one. That one squirts away. Bit of work to do for Finch. If he does, it'll be the 2 runs. Boundaryless over, but still Hampshire Hawks going all the way nicely. 10 done, 97 for 1. It's hard to get a good gauge off this wicket. I think it seems a pretty decent one. Perhaps on the slower side.
Yeah, I think it is slow. But I think the likes of Liam Dawson and Chris Wood, with all their experience, could be difficult to get away. Wood with his kind of left arm into the pitch, kind of boxer tricks, few cutters and slower balls, doesn't give a lot of width.
100%.
And Liam Dawson is so accurate, bowls it quickly into the surface.
Well, if we think they've got a lot of right-handers, every single one of ours are right.
There's Denley, and sweeping is Vince, and they're going to have to hurry here. He's diving away at the non-striker's end. Almost colliding with Denley. 35 years of age, James Vince. 40, Joe Denley. A couple of veterans. The 2 leading run scorers, as we mentioned, in T20 Blast history. Good to see Joe do his thing with the bat a little bit later. He's just slipped down the order to about number 5, hasn't he? He's gone below Sam Billings. You think of him historically as a top 3 batter. Kent have a lot of options, and he's slid down, but he's doing this job really well with the ball. Good team man.
Yeah, he's excellent for Kent, isn't he? He allows them to play a Lintott over a Matt Parkinson in this game with his leg spin. He's also still a really good athlete out in the... He was one of the 2 boundary riders during the power play.
So 100 up for the Hawks. Halfway through the 11th over. We've got a pretty decent clip here with 9 wickets in hand. That's a full toss and hit back. Weatherly almost offering a quarter bowl chance. So get a comfortable 2. Just for a second, his heart would have been in his mouth, because it looked like he might have just chipped it back to a leaping Denley.
Yeah, totally different from the women's game here. Spinners driving it into the wicket compared to the lot of air that the ladies were giving it earlier, for obvious reasons you were mentioning before.
So another decent over completed by Joe Denley. 3 overs, 1 for 23. It's probably been the pick, I'd say. Got a few things in his favour. The right-handers, as you mentioned, and he's bowling from the side of the ground. That means the leg side is it's quite a distance. But as we look around the ground, we can see decent number in. By no means a sellout today. Friday night was busier, as you'd expect, but good crowd in. Much a family feel, and they're making use of the facilities here. Beautiful day at the Spitfire ground.
Oh, Skipper Billings is persisting with Lintop from the left of road end. Looks like he's preying on a mistake here from Vince. Perhaps Lintop turning one away from him, and he looks to access this short leg side boundary. Oh, just like that, perhaps. Good throw from the Kent spinners. The last couple overs gone boundaryless. Ah, the chance came. The full shot, top edge. It's just dissected perfectly the two fielders. Behind square at short third and 45. They get through for a single. This is exactly what Kent and Lintop are looking for. Kent's just looking a tiny bit more ragged after it's been a superb 79 so far. Oh, that is big from Joe Weatherly. He has climbed all over that big slog sweep, and that looks like it's going all the way down into the Canterbury city centre. And he's really timed that one nicely.
Yeah, he's a good touch, Joe Weatherly. Mentioned his 60 against Yorkshire the other day. So striking at around about 200. 1-1-1 for 1. It's not the kind of score that's going to have Richie Benno too excited. But yeah, he has properly nailed that. Just the kind of shots that James Vince was attempting. Didn't get the middle of the bat, but Weatherly certainly did. So I think this will certainly help Vince. If Albert never really got going, did he? But if Weatherly is striking at 200, so if they're going at both ends, it takes the pressure off the skipper.
Push for 2. Make it comfortably.
It's good batting, just knowing the angles. Harry Finch has been quite busy out there. And he's got a bit of ground to cover. So if you can just beat the backward point, you're not going to get a boundary, but you should always get a couple.
Gone for that sweep again. Hard. It's well fielded by Matt Milnes. Taking it on the bounce. This time he doesn't quite get the connection. Send it over the rope.
Yeah, different length delivery, different type of sweep. I think if he looked to slog sweep that one, it would have gone straight up in the air. So kind of different plane, back plane, and look to hit it flatter, keep it down, keep it out of trouble. But nice strike and a nice bit of work from Milnes. Prompts another field change. Shane Warne-esque, Sam Billings is captain at times. Warne used to change the field every delivery or two. Billings is similarly busy, always posing different problems.
I was just thinking we hadn't seen Stewart. Interesting not to finish out Denley's spell, perhaps saving him for a touch later. But Billings thinking that the Hawks are just getting set with the spin.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of elements to this. One, get Grant Stewart in the game. And James Vince hasn't seen him yet, as he might just be lining up Joe Denley for his last over. And the other thing will be if you get a new batter in, starting against the leg spinner Denley a little bit later, it might be tricky. Pace off, a little bit of grip in the wicket. Keeping him up his sleeve. Here's Stewart. This is punching off the back foot. There's a glorious shot, classic James Vince. And he doesn't mind a little bit of extra pace on the ball. That was a high-class cricket shot, very conventional, very textbook. And the field just being adjusted here. So Lintott going back to a more conventional extra cover. And the sweeper going squarer. And Matt Milnes was more extra cover. Couldn't get round. Bowled him! So the introduction of Stewart has done the trick. James Vince has played beautifully. Just a hint of nip back, maybe stayed down a fraction. But the bowling change has worked, and Vince has had to go for a very fine 84. 46 deliveries, 12 fours, 2 sixes. But having been punched for 4 the ball before, Stewart has his man. And Hampshire lose their second, 119 for 2.
Yeah, big time for a wicket there from Grant Stewart. Vince has played beautifully throughout that innings. He's always a big wicket. And that does bring out South African overseas, Tristan Stubbs. He's got a lot of power. It's a nicely balanced side, isn't it, this Hampshire Hawks team?
Well, they're top of the table for a reason. We'll get a little look at that dismissal. Here we go, just see what this ball did. It was back of a length, and I think, to be fair, it was a pretty ugly shot by James Vince. I think he thought it was going to go above the stumps, and he just tried to work it into the leg side. He played across it, and probably didn't bounce as much as he thought. And they're just trying to manipulate that ball to mid-wicket when he might have been better off punching it down the ground, but far be it from me to tell James Vince how to bat. He's a very fine player and he's batting beautifully, but just misjudged that one and he has to go. So talked about the bowling change, and credit Sam Billings getting Grant Stewart in the game. I always think when Grant is batting or bowling, something happens. This one off the bottom of the bat. I couldn't get a single, missed field. It wasn't an easy one, but yeah, just indication that, as we saw with Toby Albert and a couple from James Vince, it can be difficult to start on this surface. That one hitting the bottom of Stubbs' bat, trickles out on the leg side, but he's away. Didn't know much about that Stubbs either. He's wanting 2 here, and he's going to get 2, I think. Aiming that through the offside. Just died on him a fraction, inside edge, past leg stump. Better looking shot, again near the bottom of the bat. Denley fields, and it'll just be the single. So successful over from Grant Stewart, the big wicket of James Vince. So well done him, well done Sam Billings. Lintott is going to continue. He will bowl out. He's gone for 33 from his 3, but with the new batter. Stubbs on strike. No surprise that the mystery left arm wrist spin is going to be employed once more.
Maybe not.
No. Change of plan. Who's this? Klassen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have been tempted to just get Lintop in at Stubbs. South African players, generally good players of pace. You know, they would have done their homework, and Stubbs has played all around the world. So played in spin-friendly conditions. And he's obviously a very good all-round player, but Lintop does have that little bit of mystery. And while he's loose, if he can get a couple of wickets here in his next couple of overs, Kent suddenly back in business. 7 remain. Hawks still thinking, pushing up towards that 190, 200 mark.
Not clean there from Dudgeon, but no harm.
A reminder of the format this year. It has changed to fewer group matches, just the 12 play home and away, the other 5 teams in your group, and then you have a couple of cross-pool matches, one of which was the other night against Nottinghamshire for Kent.
Oh, he's gone down on one knee. He's looked to get that slog sweep away again, this time off the seam of Klassen. He'll scamper back for 2 and get it half as near as clean as the time before.
Yeah, a bit of glove on that one. It'll be harder to slog sweep Klassen than it was Lintop. But, another 2 to the total. So yeah, you've got to finish in the top 2 to guarantee qualification, and it's the best 2/3.
What do you think about the new structure?
I quite like it. I quite like it. I quite like the fact you play against someone outside of your South group. So playing a miss this time from Weatherly, signalled away. Yeah, just because you kind of play the same teams over and over again. I think quite interesting the other night, the dynamics of, you know, who went well against a team that you don't know much about. Obviously they do their homework, they do their analysis, but it's never quite the same as playing against someone in that format of the game. So of course it depends who you get as well. Nottinghamshire are a good side.
Again, down that leg side, this one, bit of work for Denley to do, and he does it really well. Really good. From the veteran.
Yeah, 40 years young, Joe Denley, but still an athlete. Herring round the ground, and a dive to match.
Yes, because we've got the Rapids as our other game. That's next week. Seeing the replay there. Great work from Denley. Billings ringing in the changes. Now both mid and on off are up. Klassen cannot afford to get too full here. Oh, it was pretty full, but it was wide.
Yeah, they've got a kind of wide set field with a backward point and a deep square on the offside, kind of 15, 20 yards in front. So it gives Klassen a couple of options. He can either go short and straight, but if that's his only option, a batter can set themselves and look to target that leg side fence. There are 3 men back waiting for the pull stroke. Field is set square and deep.
Carbon copy of the ball before. Full and wide. To reload and go again. Never feel too easy when the plan is pretty apparent. I know he can dig in short, but both men up, somewhat telegraphing. It's either going to be full and outside off stump with that wide set field, or dug in and short. That's the short one. Again, for the third time this over, it runs down to fine leg, this time too quick for Denley, goes for 4, not where he intended. And then 4 for the total. Hampshire Hawks 135 for
2. Yeah, I mean, slightly ugly cricket in truth. And Klassen had been wided. As a batter, you're thinking, okay, he's got to come straighter. You can just kind of help it round the corner, but it wasn't quite where Weatherly intended. A little bit of fortune about that one.
Player miss again from Weatherly in the over. The scrappy over that.
Yeah, off-pace delivery just dying on the surface. I think the Hawks will learn a little bit from how the Spitfires have bowled. The advantage of the captain, having been out there for a period of time, he'll know what's easiest to face on this surface. Feeding that back to his bowlers, giving that length and what pace to bowl. Obviously, he'll know what fields he wants to set to make life tricky for the Kent Spitfires. But some of that will also depend, of course, on what they manage to get in terms of a total. 135 for 2 with 6 remaining. You'd think 10s, 195. I think that's well within their compass at the moment as we look at the Les Ames scoreboard and the hospitality boxes.
Signatures, is yours on there?
I wouldn't have thought so. That would devalue the bat. Youngster looks nice and cool behind the boundary boards. So Stewart to continue. Stubbs experienced enough to know that this is a surface you've got to get in on, and then he can be as destructive as most. But struggled to get his timing going yet.
Stubbs' usual MO is that, to get himself in. He knows he can catch up near the end, as you say. He's done it all around the world. He is one of the game's premier middle order T20 batters.
Bolden. So bringing Stewart into the attack has worked a couple of times. Got rid of Vince and has now got rid of Joe Weatherly both times. The stumps have been rattled. On both occasions the batters have played across the line. Just wondered if that was a slightly off-pace delivery. Weatherly looking to pull it, heave it away on the leg side. Just seemed to die on him a bit.
Seemed like a pretty ugly shot as well. He's had a few of those in the last couple of overs, Weatherly.
Well, I think where the surface is slow, you do find yourself having a bit of a hoik across the line because it's difficult to time. So a hoik across the line too far on that occasion.
From what you can tell, what do you think is a decent total, one that will challenge this Kent lineup?
Well, I think whenever you get a slow surface, you know, anything around about the 170 will be tricky, and they should get to that. So they could be a few above par here, but that, I mean, that's hit 3/4 of the way up leg stump. So there's not a lot of bounce when you bowl that either off-pace delivery or you just hit the right length, and I think that will prove problematic when you're chasing a score that, you know, is upwards of 170, 180. But what I would say is that, you know, Kent has stopped full of talent in the batting department, and it only takes 1 or 2 to get going, and you can break the back of a run chase quite quickly. So all that to come. At the moment, it is about restricting the Hawks to something manageable, and 2 new batters, both overseas, are at the crease as Hilton Cartwright, who Australian, plays a lot of his cricket, of course, in West Australia, where the pitches are notoriously quick and bouncy, and this is not what he's faced with today.
No. The 2 overseas have had a pretty successful campaign so far. They're the 2nd and 3rd top run scorers for Hampshire Hawks before Vince's innings today. I think it's a good sign if they're coming in around this point in the middle order, still scoring a high proportion of the runs for the Hampshire side. Good nick.
It's going to get the single here. Yeah, still Liam Dawson to come. It's interesting that they do come in. They came in quite low against Yorkshire on Friday, trying to chase down 155, I think it was. They kind of batting 6 and 7.
Yeah, still no Ben Mays.
Yeah, Ben Mays too. So plenty of batting still in the shed for the Hawks. But sometimes they just like to get these players in with a certain amount of overs to go. It's maybe like 10 overs to go. That's when Stubbs comes in. 7 overs to go. That's when Cartwright comes in. That's when they're at the best. They know the stats. When Carlos Brathwaite played here, he was a brilliant player with kind of 3-4 overs to go. But if he came in with like 12-13 overs to go, it's almost like
a bit lost at sea.
Well, yeah, a little bit. And it was bizarre because you think you want your better players or your overseas players that you're paying probably quite good money to, you want them coming in and impacting the game for as long as possible, but actually that doesn't always fit with their skill set. And Brathwaite was a finisher. You know what he did to Ben Stokes back in 2016. 3 or 4 overs of carnage at the end was his thing.
Yeah.
But it does look a different game now Vince has gone. Crawley throws some grass up in the air. Just wanted to check where the wind is going. It was across the ground. It feels a little bit more like it's coming straight to us now, so it might have just changed a little bit, and Crawley just wanted to check where it's going. Always thinking, these players, because he'll be batting fairly soon, and want to use the wind to his benefit.
Matt Mills back on from Atherton Road end. Field set. Hiding this ball outside the off stump. Very straight extra cover and mid off within the ring. He goes to that extra cover, no run. Good thinking this. Trying to take away that swing to the leg side on the short boundary. Not a nice job that for the bowler. Again, good stuff this from Milnes.
It's like the Hawks are just kind of setting themselves up for the last 2 or 3 overs, isn't it? These two very experienced overseas campaigners. It's almost like just get in, get used to the pitch. Experienced enough not to just slog the first one straight up in the air. Get a feel for things, line Matt Milnes up and then go.
The rags come out from behind Matt Milnes. Are you able to say, I don't know the rules here, but if, for instance, that bowled Cartwright, could he claim being distracted? Is that a...
Well, I mean, you could try, but I don't think a rag flying out of a pocket should distract. If it's distracting you as a batter, then you're not watching the right thing. Different if his hand falls off or something.
And it's excellently bowled from Matt Milnes. Oh no. Oh, goodness. I think something has pinged. Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Hilton Cartwright, we don't know what's happened there, but I was watching the ball, but he's obviously pulled up in some discomfort. So there's going to be a little bit of break in play here as the physios run out onto the field.
Yeah, that was instant. As soon as he went to set off.
It looked like a Achilles or something.
All behind the back of the knee.
Yeah.
Goodness.
He's not moving. It's never a good sign. A footballer writhing around and doing all those kind of Neymar-like somersaults. You think that's for effect. When they're not moving much, you know that he's popped something here. So that'll be a blow for Hampshire. Wish him well. Physio is out there. Just to see if we can see which bit he's tending to. It does look like it's a calf or behind the knee, like you mentioned. So just a reminder that our stream coverage today is brought to you courtesy of our friends at Clubberly, making money for your club and yourself. Check them out at clubberly.com. And if you're just joining us on the stream coverage, I can tell you that Kent Spitfires won the toss. They opted to bowl first, and James Vince played mighty well. Skipper, he made 84 of 46 deliveries, 12 fours, 2 sixes. Toby Albert was the first man to go, 16 off 19 balls. He was caught Zach Crawley at wide long off for the bowling of Joe Denley. Vince went next. He was bowled by Grant Stewart. Interesting introduction by Sam Billings, because Denley had been miserly. He held him back and he introduced Stewart, and he got rid of Vince, and an over later took out Joe Weatherly as well. 24 of 16 balls for him, 1 4 and 1 slog swept 6. Tristan Stubbs is 7 off 8, and Hilton Cartwright 3 off 6, and he looks in some discomfort. He's still down at the moment, as we show you a wide of the ground on the flats to the left of screen. Beautiful day here at the Spitfire ground, but Hilton Cartwright is in a bit of bother out there. The overseas, the Australian. Been in good touch, 34 years of age, and just punched that one out, didn't he, to deep cover. And I was watching the ball, you saw him set off. I just saw the last bit when he was crawling to make sure he made his ground, but
it was in the first couple steps something instantly went, but he was valiant to get back, still in.
Yes,
still crawling in his way.
A batter's instinct to make sure he's not going to get run out. I remember famously here in 2006, Matt Walker, former Kent player and Kent coach, of course, and great friend to a lot of us who played with Walks. He made 197 against Lancashire, game that Andrew Flintoff played in, and it was a roasting hot day, and he was suffering from cramp. And he swept one out to the boundary, and he was coming back for 2 when both hamstrings and then I think a couple of quads kicked in as well, and he just hit the deck and was run out, and was seen kind of commando style crawling to try and make his ground as Luke Sutton held the ball next to the stumps, allowing him to crawl a bit closer before he whipped the bails off. But brilliant innings, deserved the double 100, cut short by cramp. But yeah, it was like a sniper had taken him out in the hamstrings. But
well, sorry to disturb, in what is something I did not expect to see.
Yeah, he's up and running again.
He's up on his feet, and he's jogging. I thought he'd be stretched off the pitch.
One of the great. It's Lazarus-like, isn't it? He is up and running, and the guy looked like that.
My goodness.
For 1 minute, it was kind of season over, and I don't know who that physio
I was going
is.
to say, I need to see that physio. There's a few things.
There's
I
a few of us could be coming back out of retirement if that physio was to lay the magic hands upon us. But well done, the Hampshire Hawks physio and Hilton Cartwright. Well, we'll see if he has to take off or turn for a quick 2. We'll see what shape the body's in, but beware of the wounded batter, because he might be thinking, while I'm here and I've faced 6 balls, got used to this pitch, I might try and wallop a few. But he's skipping around like a young thing.
I'm absolutely bowled over by that. The way he went down instantly, and as you say, wasn't moving.
Yeah. You thought Achilles, hamstring, calf, season gone. I mean, we'll see what he's like when he's got to run a 2. But
Physio's getting a big clap there.
Yeah, physio.
Yeah.
Well done.
Finish the over. Crunching drive just for 1.
Yeah, and he moves slightly gingerly down to the non-striker's end. Sam Billings pats him on the back.
Well, the only other thing, if he is a bit ginger in the running, maybe those 2s will be off the table for a little while. Kent can play off that, but as you say, beware of the dangers.
Well, as a fielding unit, you'd be aware of his struggles and you'd be throwing to his end, I would imagine. So keep an eye on him. But also from a Hawks point of view, you don't want him out there if he can't function properly. You know, if he's struggling to strike it and he's struggling to run between the wickets, he'd be better off with the next batter in as Stewart starts another over, and Cartwright
gets in the way.
Just, yeah, bit of a linebacker kind of block, stops Stewart getting across. So he's going to face the first ball since his little mishap.
There's plenty of batters in the shed.
Well, exactly. I mean, I would imagine that he's not going to die wondering here. If it's in his arc, he's going to swing, because that's probably what he said to the physio. Just let me have a bit of a go here. If he just starts stroking it around. There he goes. It's gone big, and I think he's towed it. This could be out underneath it and gone. So, yeah, Cartwright a bit low on the bat, and Stewart's got another one. And he's walking off. No sign of the discomfort he was in 5 minutes or so ago. Just wonder whether we might have seen the last of him today. I'm not sure he'll be fielding, but he has gone. So
the fact he's walking off this pitch is still blowing my mind.
Well, he's walking off briskly, I would suggest. He's not showing any sign of the discomfort he was in. But what shouldn't be overlooked is the introduction of Grant Stewart. He's taken 3 for 12 from full team balls. He's rather changed the context of this match. So Ben Mays, the England under-19 batter, very talented young player. He comes to the crease. It's a straightforward catch from Keith Dudgeon.
It always seems to be the way in these middle overs for Kent. I don't know about you, but these all-rounders seem to come to the fore, whether it's last season a few times, Everson, in the game we saw, what, a month or so back, Deanne Forrester, and now it's Grant Stewart coming up trumps for Kent. Superb, 3 for 12.
Well, it could go either way, can't it? Because the batters are well set. You're kind of 1 or 2 down. They're going to look to take you down. And if you swing across the line a couple of times and miss, you can pick up 3 for diddly squat, as he's in again here. And Mays is just going to get away, misfield at extra cover.
Potentially 2.
Yeah, Klassen diving in there and couldn't get it in the mitts. So Mays is away. But yeah, I mean, they were looking at 200, weren't they, at one stage? You'd think they'd be hard pushed to get that now. 3.5 overs remaining, 143 for 4.
Yeah, pulling this back, Kent. Really good stuff.
Thinking maybe targeting again. We talked about the amount of right-handers they've got. They just keep coming out one after the other. So they might be thinking about attacking the over that's bowled from the Nackington Road end. He's just clipped this one. He'll be thinking about 2. He's a young man and he's quick. He's going to get back fairly comfortably.
So you imagine Stewart will finish off from the fielding end and Milnes and Dudgeon from the Nackington Road. Assume that'll be the way. Unlikely probably to see Klassen again, perhaps.
A bit of work from the bowler there. Not only did he jam the Yorker in, but he also scampered after that shot. It was actually fielded by Harry Finch, but Stewart making his way across to it helped prevent the second. So another successful over for Grant Stewart. What an impact he has had. 3 overs, 3 for 17. It's one of his better performances in the blast.
Wants to keep on going. It's a smart shot. It's a lovely scoop over the top for 4. Mays, young man without fear. Hampshire Hawks, 150 up with that brilliant shot. He knows the plan. Mills is going full and outside off stump, trying to hide this short leg side boundary. And he's brilliantly deflected that all the way down across the practice pitch. It's away for 4. It's brought about change in the field. Third man goes out. And player miss. This time looking to use his feet.
It's been that length, isn't it? That back of a length has been difficult to hit across the line. We saw Vince's opening boundary where he swatted one over mid-wicket. But other than that one, that back of a length off-stump delivery has been tough to score off.
Billings again at it, changing his field. Now third man up. Nice ball, slow ball bounce there. Again through to Billings. Really good this from Matt Milnes. Well bowled it once more. May scampers through for a single. That's 5 for the first 4 deliveries. Now the South African Tristan Stubbs on strike. It's 10 from 11. Hasn't got going yet. You'd say you'll be thinking about getting a move on soon. And still with some strikers in the hutch with Dawson and Fuller. I think it's coming now. Crunch straight. There we go. On cue, slaps that ball straight past Matt Milnes, and also mid-off, drilled away for 4, stood nice and tall, timed it beautifully down the ground.
Yeah, top of the bounce, trying to find that tricky length again, but baseball shot, clubbed it. Tristan Stubbs, that's what he does. As you said, one of the premier middle order T20 players in world cricket. Just looking at the scores when James Vince was out in the 13th over, 119 for 2.
Ball this time goes straight to Clarkson as a shot at the stumps.
Yeah, I didn't get hold of that one. So yeah, 119 for 2. It would have been 119 for 1 when Vince was still there. They would have been eyeing that kind of 190, 200. And you'd think now with 2 overs remaining, probably take 180, I think, if you were the Hawks.
Victoria's skipper belt there from earlier. The Horses captain. Enjoying her day now. But yes, absolutely. Can you say pulling this one back? That total you mentioned earlier about the 170 mark. Well, cannot be very happy if they can keep Hampshire to that at this point, but still, it was looking 200 plus.
Yeah, and it looked very different when James Vince was going to when everyone else has played on it, and that's the calibre of him as a player. But Kent have got a very talented batting lineup who are used to playing on this ground, of course. So if they can come to terms with the surface, as Stewart is going to finish off. Stubbs nudges this one up to long on the practice wickets. It'll to the fielder quickly. It's just a single. Touch and do the work out there.
Been very consistent with that Yorker today. Stewart.
He's bowled really nicely. Best bowling in T20 cricket is 4 for 48. So he takes one more wicket here. He's barring an absolute disaster in terms of runs conceded off his last. We'll beat that, but he needs to get one more wicket. He's 3 for at the moment, and a little play and miss from Mays, trying to reverse flick it over Matt Milnes as at short third man. Very optimistic.
Yes, Mays, one of those on that group, performed excellently in the 19s World Cup. Of course, we have a few of ourselves with Ben Dawkins.
Yeah, that'd be the frustration for Ben Dawkins, wouldn't it? You see Ben Mays playing in this competition, he'll want to be doing likewise. Mays has got hold of this one. That is a hell of a strike to the leg side, and he gets 6. So that time Stewart just hitting a length. Take another little look at this replay. It was probably middle and off. It was just the length, and he was able to help it on its way. And it's a good shot because that's into the breeze, and that is the larger of the two square boundaries. So well struck. Gone straight this time. I think he's going to be out. Yep, straightforward catch to Zach Crawley. A little cameo from Mays, 15 off 10. He has to go. But done his job really. You come in with a few overs to go. You've got to strike at a decent rate, and if you hole out, you hole out. But I'm sure as the years go by, he'll make his way further towards the top of the order. He's a classy player, the England under-19 batter, but he has to go. And Stewart does strike. He does get his best bowling in Kent colours. So unless he concedes 25 off his next 2 deliveries, he will have a career best.
I wouldn't like to see it, but it'd be quite some viewing if he does somehow. But no, really
will
well
involve
deserved.
a lot of wides, no balls,
yeah.
and
We'll be here for a while.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. No sign of it. He's been excellent today. But that is T20 cricket. You know, some days you come out, you get smacked all over the place. Other days you bowl in similar fashion, and the batters miss, and you knock the stumps over a couple of times, and then they pick out a couple of fielders. But you have to be quite phlegmatic in terms of your mood and your approach. Just do your thing.
But they sent out Fuller ahead of Dawson. Big hitter.
Yeah, Fuller's got long levers and he can launch a ball. And there you go, struck. What a shot that is. He just walked to the crease and smoked one straight back past the bowler. Bisects long on and long off. They're both back there. It was not a badly executed delivery, but when he hits it, James Fuller, it stays hit. Stuart be thinking 5 for here. I'd be inclined to just take the pace off, pull my length back, which means he's got to hit it up in the air to that long boundary. He might just hole out. Hasn't done that, and I think he's going to go 4 here as well. That gets on the practice wickets indeed. So rather ruining Grant Stewart's figures to a certain extent. He won't mind too much. He's still picked up career best, but those last 2 balls going for 4 means that he's taken 4 for 32. But he has changed the course of this game, bowled really nicely. So 172 for 5 with 1 remaining.
Well, they've breached the 170 mark, which you mentioned earlier. Well, this is an interesting call from skipper Billings here. He's gone back to Fred Clarkson, of course knows these conditions well. That's leaving an over out there for Dudgeon. Dudgeon, who bowled superbly well during the power play. He's not had another opportunities, and he's going back to Fred Clarkson.
I think you have your preferred death bowlers. I think if you remember, Dudgeon at Chelmsford went round the park and he bowled nicely up top, and then when he came back didn't quite get it right, got smashed as Essex was struggling at the halfway stage. Ended up posting 180 odd and squeaking home by 3 runs as it turned out.
Dug in from Clarkson. Also a different angle, I guess. Clarkson poses.
Yeah, they'll just... Sometimes you go with the guys that have gone well on that particular day, and Klassen was a little bit expensive earlier. 2 overs have cost him 23. But if he's your go-to death bowler and he's got those skills, he's got those slower balls. You know, Vince took to him over number 1. He's no longer at the crease.
Lining him up there as Fuller. You see him.
Klassen showing his skills, you know, the wide Yorker. He knows that Fuller will want to find that short boundary on the leg side, so he's gone Fuller wide. Premeditated slog sweep doesn't work.
You could see his stance on the screen there. It's pretty extreme. You can almost see the leg stump. He's angling it straight towards us, Mr. Fulton.
Pulled that one, but he's got the fielders in the right position. That's Lynn Todd at deep mid wicket. So pull up by standing like that. I would imagine as a bowler you know exactly what he's looking for. Klassen experienced enough just to mix things up. So good clawback this from the Spitfires. Halfway stage, 98 for 1. I'm thinking 200 is on.
Oh, excellent this. Really, really superb stuff from Freddie Klassen. 2 big balls to come here.
We'll be talking up Tristan Stubbs, 17 off 16, just an indication that this pitch is not quite what he's used to. Might be slightly tough to score on. So I think it feels to me like it's slightly above par this on this surface, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. It's even that. Bottom of the bat, back of a length.
Yes, Vince, his innings and also the way he struck the ball looks a bit of an anomaly out there.
Yeah, bit of an outlier. Whether he got hold of a few, but even he towards the end was a bit hoiky. Hence the difference at the moment, you'd think. But as we said, again, have got plenty of talent in their batting lineup. And they've got some players in good touch as well, notably the skipper.
Last ball here. Freddie Klassen, can he finish it off? Again, struck nicely, but straight to Lintott again. They'll consider 2. Gets the ball in. Oh, that's... Oh.
And he's running out. So, an absolute circus out there. It was a classic example, actually, of why the batters should have just turned and gone. It doesn't matter if you run out. You just turn and go, and you take the 2. And if they'd have turned and gone, they would have got there. But there was a hesitation. The throw from Lintott wasn't very good. I couldn't see who was backing up. But the throw came in. And Stubbs was run out, so not really his day. And the Spitfires have stuck to their task really well there. Won 76 for 6.
That's the 4 coming off that. Final over for Freddie Klassen.
Yeah.
Great decision in the end, as you say, keeping 2 is tried and tested at the end there.
Yeah, good bit of captaincy, as you'd expect from Sam Billings. He doesn't get much wrong. I mean, you could always say, oh, I could have done this or could have done that, but it's... he knows his stuff. So just to run you through the batting card. Standout innings was the captain, James Vince, 84 off 46. The first man to go, Toby Albert, 16 off 19. Never really got going. When Vince was out, 119 for 2. Weatherly made 24. Tristan Stubbs, that's 17 at the end. Hilton Cartwright, 3 off 7. Didn't really tell the whole story of his innings because he was he pulled up for about 5 minutes. Looked like he'd been sniped. Bit of something had popped, hamstring, calf, Achilles. And physio came out. 5 minutes later, he was dancing around. But then he holed out straight afterwards. Ben Mays, an enterprising little 15 off 10. So 176 for 6. Standout bowler for the Spitfires was Grant Stewart, 4 for 32 from his 4. The other successful wicket taker was Joe Denley, 1 for 23. So 176 for 6. The Spitfires will require 177. We return in about 10 minutes or so. Please join us for the run chase.
sorting coloured balls into 2 boxes. Here we go, what's your name, sir? Nice to meet you, Johnny Jones. This is the speed sort showdown. Try to take that up to 4 points for Spitfire. We've teamed up with our great Spitfires music partnership team to introduce our brand new Spitfire speed sort showdown training tool all our home games in this year's high quality glass. Come around here, get behind the boxes. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to sort all the balls into the containers, 1 red, 1 blue. Your challenge is to be great. Do we see the video going on? Let's check out the screen there to see how well he did. Here we go. Sort the balls into the red box and the party time.
Yeah.
The batting for Kent, Harry Finch and Daniel Bell-Drummond.
Right, welcome back
Here we go with the 10-second countdown.
to live stream coverage courtesy of our friends Cloverly,
8, 7,
as the Spitfires in what is a not quite a must-win game, but a very important 4 points required. They need 177 to win, and it is Sonny Baker from the Nackington Road end bowling to Harry Finch, punches this one into the offside, and there's no run. Interesting whether the extra pace of Baker might just skid onto the bat.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what speeds Baker can get up to. Certainly will be the quickest on show today.
Yeah, he's an engaging fella, Sonny Baker. Had the pleasure of his company a little bit in the winter. A bit of work with the Lions. He was on that kind of Lions tour, which was shadowing the main Ashes party. And yeah, he's a talented lad. As he bowls here to Finch, that is a quick delivery. And he's gone for 4 byes. So,
But again, it's that length. Back of the leg.
yeah, just skidded straight through him, didn't he? Could have easily taken the stumps out. Have a little look at this one on replay. Cool.
That's not got up.
No, it didn't get up at all. I said this, I felt this score was above par, and that has not changed my mind. This one has been struck away through the mid-wicket area, not quite where Finch intended. He will not care. And Dawson trudges after it. Can't read it in. So, and this is the thing, as tricky as this pitch can be, Kent will know that it's only probably going to get harder. So go hard in the power play, have a little bit of luck, like that 4 byes. Goes over the stumps and down, swings a bit after it's gone past the bat. 4 byes, followed by 4 runs. Suddenly they're off and running. Certainly that length That back of the length looks difficult to time, because normally short and wide like that, you'd expect Finch to put it away. We saw Stubbs.
Struggled.
Yeah, he's saying a couple of those kind of back foot cuts and punches, just no timing at all. Just think that the heat that's been around for the last 10 days or so can suck the life out of a pitch, make it difficult to score. James Vince has just taken himself wider at slip, and again that's indication that he doesn't think it's going to fly fast and fine. And as a bowling unit, that's kind of what you've got to do. Just got to thump it into that spot, and if the batter wants to try and hoik across the line, you run the risk.
Maybe not thumping it, but you're going to also have Chris Wood and Scott Curry with those change-ups that they've got, also using digging it into the wicket. It's not going to be easy at all, is it, the Spitfires? But we have the talent.
And it might be just holding your nerve, you know, trying to pick the bowl up, get your match up right, try and take someone down rather than go too hard too early. And that is expertly done by James Vince, because he's just put himself in that position. Gone from first slip to a kind of fourth or fifth slip line, and that's save 4. So decent over from Baker, who was the 1 boundary to Finch and the 4 byes.
Will be the very experienced Wood, the left arm seamer coming from the pavilion end. An excellent start to the campaign. 6th on the list, 13 wickets. Canny bowler. Quick single taken. Shy at the stumps wide. Could have been tight.
Yeah, he was in quite close there. It's Dawson at mid-on. He's a left-arm bowler, but he actually throws with his right arm, so it's one that they'll know about, but it's a kind of quirk. Kevin James, who played for Hampshire, was the first player I ever saw do that. Samit Patel is another one. Left-arm spinners who throw with their right arms.
Use of the feet from Finch, gloriously down the ground. Has that got all the way? It hasn't, just on the bounce. That's a lovely use of the feet. Not as quick, of course, Wood compared to Baker. There's the other end. It's a lovely confidence booster there from Harry Finch.
Yeah, just wonder if Toby Albert's thinking about coming up to the stumps to stop that little shuffle down the crease, because shuffle down the pitch, because you're right, Chris Wood is a canny bowler, but he's not got great pace. And we've seen in the recent Test series, we saw it in the Ashes, didn't we? Alex Carey standing up, we've seen Tom Blundell standing up to the likes of Matt Henry. Well, Matt Henry is a lot sharper than Chris Wood.
Dug in and cut away. Well, stop from Curry there at short third. But yes, it's become a bit of a trend, isn't it? Keepers up. You've seen some great quality keeping, whether it be Carey or Blundell.
It was a real feature of the Gloucestershire team that was so successful in the early noughties. Jack Russell standing up to Mike Smith and Mark Lane and John Lewis, and very difficult when you know that you miss it and step out of your crease and you're gone. Cameron tries to hoik that one away, and once again a ball that skids underneath.
We've seen that pretty much all day, haven't we? From that length, they try and play the cross-batted shot. It's not been easy at all.
You know, that length you think is going to get up a bit higher, hence the pull stroke, but you might be better off almost flat batting it down the ground, almost trying to hit it on top of the bounce with a straight bat.
Well, we saw Stubbs do that near the end. One of the only ones who did get away was precisely that, getting on top of the bounce and almost baseballing it straight down the ground. We know this is one of Bell Drummond's strengths, is the cross-batted shots.
Yeah, Daniel will want pace and bounce in a pitch. Most batters do, but he's a fine exponent of back foot stroke play. He's been hoiked into the leg side. He'll just get the single. I think Bell Drummond, we'll see if Baker continues, but Bill Drummond, I think, will prefer
Yes.
the pace of Baker.
And it looks like it will be Baker. And I agree, I think Bill Drummond will be sweating on just whether at that length, if it gets up still.
He played pretty well the other night, Daniel, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
A decent clip against Nottinghamshire. Hasn't quite fired.
Well, if you think about our campaign last year, was really built on the foundation of Bell Drummond and Mieye up the top of the order. Of course, Mieye's out with that concussion, and Bell Drummond's only hit, what is it, about 116 runs this year. And Billings really holding the batting order so far, but in comes Baker.
There you go. Short ball. Too short this time from Baker. There's a difference between hitting that back of a length and then a couple of yards shorter than that. He's quick as Baker, but Bill Drummond has seen quicker, so this pace will hold no fear for him. In fact, he'll enjoy it. So if Baker wants to be back of a length and threatening the bails,
So
that's
quick,
fine.
isn't he? So quick. Right
Yeah.
in front of square.
Yeah, he'll know that he's trying to hit the pitch. He was too short on that occasion. Two men back on the leg side fence now. Much better length. And Toby Elbert taking it by his ankles. Pulled this one, and that is 6. So pull stroke for 4, pull stroke for 6. Got many a mile. Too short from Baker. You don't bowl there to Daniel Bell Drummond.
That's heading down Moldover Road. The Sainsbury's car park. As we said before, this is probably exactly what Bell Drummond waiting for, a bit of pace on the ball. Vastly different to Wood the other end.
There was always a feeling on the circuit that Daniel Bell Drummond, from a young age, he looked like an international player because he played the quicks really well. That fantastic 90-ball 100 against the Aussies in 2015, Ryan Harris, Richard Johnson and co. And he played pace well, where he probably has struggled in recent times. There's been more of your kind of county bowler that challenges the top of the off stump and your front pad a little bit more. Kind of the 75-mile-an-hour guys that just examine your technique, as opposed to some of the quicker bowlers who challenge your courage and your different type of technique. And Daniel's got those guys covered, and he's got courage in spades. As Baker looks to make amends for being a bit short, he gets away with that one, a bit full and wide. It's the dot. So yeah, sometimes talk about matchups in terms of, you know, spinners bowling to left or right-handers. Sometimes you look at this and you just got a feeling that, yep, you bowl 90 mile an hour, well, I'll send it back at 120 mile an hour. He's that kind of player, Daniel Bell Drummond.
Looking shots there straight at the cover fielder, but you think they're pretty good double act here with Finch, who's a fine player himself, but you'd imagine he's probably pretty happy with Bell Drummond taking on Baker, and if he takes Wood, he's happy to use his feet as he showed in that first over. A bit more comfortable, it's a slightly slower pace, and it's a good partnership.
Yeah, and they'll know they've got to make the best use of this power play, because I think it'll get harder. Nicely bowled, and Baker and Finch side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Opportunity there for the youngster to just give Finch a little nudge with his shoulder, but he let him pass. So good over from a Kent perspective. 4 and a 6 to Daniel Bell Drummond. It's got him going nicely. He's 13 off 10. Finch is 9 off 8. 26 without loss after 3. Very much on a par where Hampshire were.
And this is Fuller coming on now for Wood. I don't think, again, Beldrum will be that upset with the change. Fuller probably second quickest bowler in the Hampshire lineup, give or take. I think he'd rather be facing him than Chris Wood right now, but as we know, Chris Wood will certainly return his change-ups.
Yeah, Fuller is a lively medium-fast bowler. He's a tall man. He can hit an area, but he can go for a few as well. He will come onto the bat, like you say, more than Chris Wood.
They're going to have to scamper and get home. Good running that from Kent off the misfield. Was it a bit of a slower ball?
Yeah, slower ball. It looked like the one out the back of the hand. Liam Dawson at mid-on kind of collapsed on it a bit. Familiar gait of Dawson.
Good looking shot, just the one. Vince does well, retrieves it. Not to put the marks on, but he's looking on it here as Beldrum. Nice timing. As you say, his first decent score of the campaign a couple of nights ago. Looking to build on that. Lovely for Finch. Square drive. Hasn't faced much of the strike the last couple of overs. Doesn't matter, he's still untouched. Lovely shot for 4. Squirted all the way just back at a point. Lovely shot.
Yeah, just an example there. You don't have to overhit the ball. That is just a kind of classic kind of cover drive push, really. Didn't really climb into it. He just picked the gap. He knows the field is up on the offside. He's just got to beat those two fielders. Just to open the blade slightly.
Take the single on offer.
Really good opportunity this for Harry Finch as well. Back in the side because of the injury to Mieye. Not going to see Zach Crawley disappear like he's done in previous years to the Test team, so you're probably wondering how you're getting in. You know, last year he was first choice keeper in the Championship side. He's been usurped by Chris Benjamin. His attitude is always excellent. Been very good in the second team by all accounts. Kept himself in good nick. And then when the opportunity comes, try and grab it with both hands. Make it very difficult for you to be left out when Mieye, as he hopefully will, comes back.
Well, this is the second time, isn't it, that Finch has come in, like I say, last year for Crawley. And he did well then as well, I remember. I was watching him really attack these power plays nicely. These two just setting the platform. Something that this season, again, Kent hasn't had too much on. There's often been an early wicket, and then Crawley coming out pretty early. So I'm sure he'll be happy that this pair are going on nicely. If not rocketing, then they're doing things nicely. Setting up these last 2 overs of the power play.
So it looks like a change of ends for Chris Wood. He's quite often the way of things. The experienced campaigner will operate from both ends. Quite unique characteristics here of the slope at Canterbury. You've got the similar to the Lord's slope in that it goes across the ground, but whereas Lord's is straight across, here at the Spitfire grounds more on the diagonal as Finch drops deep into his crease and swings this away to the leg side. It's just going to be the single. Wouldn't imagine Chris Wood is going to offer up that short pullable length to Daniel Bell-Drummond that Sonny Baker did. He's got this one through though. A little bit of width. Bell-Drummond down the pitch and would adjusted his length, saw him coming, but when he does bang it in, he's not quick enough to worry you. So Bell-Drummond going nicely. Just wonder, he's gave himself a bit of room and down the pitch whether Toby Albert is thinking about coming up to the stumps. I'm not sure of Albert's keeping pedigree. I think I could be wrong, but I think he's more batter first, keeper second. It's been swatted to mid-on and take the single. Dawson does the fielding.
Is it Ben Brown in the championship who'd be taking the gloves?
Yeah, Ben Brown, and before him would have been Lewis McManus before he moved. So yeah, just wonder whether it's.
McManus was almost wicket-keep first.
He was wicket-keeper first bat, although he's turned himself into a pretty decent batter, Lewis McManus. But yeah, you just think that Albert may be doing a job. Don't mean that disrespectfully, but Finch has swung that one, and it's I think a quarter chance. It was a great effort on the square leg fence. Trying to see who that is.
Puller out there, I believe.
Yeah, it was a brilliant effort because he's had to run in. It was never quite carrying. What a good view from our commentary position. Yeah, James Fuller. He attacked it. He went in low. Sometimes they keep coming and you can just get the fingers underneath. Down the pitch again, inside edge, going to run away for 4. So this tactic of just running at Chris Wood is working here for the Spitfires. And Albert just staying where he is, no attempt to come up to the stumps.
Well, it's good that's from the Kent batters though. They know they're going to have to put the pace on themselves. Chris Wood isn't going to give it to them. It's paying dividends right now.
We get 4 here, Daniel Bell-Drummond as well. This time he uses all his experience to just hang back in the crease. And the 50 is up in double quick time. So really good start from Finch and Bell-Drummond. And you can see what Chris Wood was thinking. He's had Daniel Bell-Drummond running at him. So he pulls his length back, and Bell-Drummond has guessed that. And has just hung back in his crease and got the short length that he wanted. Punched him off the back foot. Short arm jab of a pull shot for 4. Fine batting, useful experience from Bell-Drummond.
I've been intrigued about seeing Scott Curry in action, the Scottish / obviously now qualifying for England in that odd circumstance. He's certainly on England's books and the white ball stuff. Kept again from Finch, happy to take a single. Went for big money in the 100 draft as well.
Yeah, I think this game will start. It's like the warm-up to when Dawson comes on for me. I think as soon as the pace comes off the ball and the field can spread, I think that's when it starts getting serious. I think this is the by no means easy part of the game.
Oh, there we go. Lovely touch from Daniel Bell-Drummond. All class. Little nudge there. Delightfully done. Down to third man. Sprawling effort there from the short third man, but couldn't catch up with it, using the pace, and that's another 4.
Yeah, that's trademark Bell-Drummond. Always get nervous for a bowler when third man is in the ring to Daniel Bell-Drummond. He can manipulate the ball so beautifully in that area.
Two balls left of this power play now. Going to be looking to maximise them as best as he can. Pretty content with the singles here. Good plan this from Curry. Tucking up Bell Drummond, not allowing him to slash it through the offside, which is unprotected. And that's the power play done. 60 for none, even I could do that maths. Going at 10 to over here. Pretty reminiscent that of what Hampshire Hawk did. Good platform set.
Yeah, I think Hampshire were 58 with that loss at the end of the power play. So Kent just got their noses in front. This was a good period for Hampshire until Vince got out. He started to really hit the gas about this time. But, yeah, run rate 10, required rate 8.4. So very manageable at the moment. But here, the aforementioned Liam Dawson into the attack as a decent Kent crowd look on. They've been coming in this afternoon in decent number. There was about 1,000 here for the women's match, which was great to see. Last ball victory over the Steelbacks. And it has swelled. We'll hopefully find out just how many, but this is crunch time really. Liam Dawson, England T20 spinner, vastly experienced.
Quality performer all around the world, but I'm going to say I'm a tiny bit shocked by the end. He's got the short leg side boundary and he's also going against the slope. I would have thought the other end, the pavilion end, was tailor-made for him. But maybe they're playing on because he's such a quality performer.
Yeah, they might be thinking, try and hit him across the line. Nice shot from Harry Finch. Dawson taking the pace off on that occasion. That cut stroke straight of extra cover. And North had a long way to run round, so they get back for two.
Perhaps the thoughts of Vince here is by using Dawson at this end, they're minimising the damage from this short boundary end. They can kind of tell that the Kent batters aren't going to go too hell for leather for him, at least at this stage. And obviously we know it's more difficult to hit the boundaries from pavilion end.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think that a lot of teams these days almost think, right, Liam Dawson, we'll try and take him just a little bit better than a runner ball. And his first over has conceded 6. There was the 1 dot and there was the 2. And there were singles in that over. So just minimising risk, the Spitfires, against the experience of Dawson. Recognising that on this surface, it could be difficult to get away. So tick him along. No damage done. And look to use the pace of the likes of James Fuller. He's back into the attack now. Sonny Baker, Scott Curry. It might be easier to score off.
I'm not sure how big of a fan you are of judging where a team is against the DLS, especially on a day where there's certainly going to be no rain, but we're well ahead of that at this current stage, showing that Kent are in a good position. But now there is protection down third man, Sonny Baker.
Yeah, well now what happens is, with the field back and the power play restrictions over, you'd imagine that ones and twos easier to come by, boundaries less so. And what that'll mean when you're needing 8.5, 9 and over is that if you're getting 6 and 7s, that run rate will start to climb and pressure will start to build. So sometimes, can you hold your nerve? Which bowler are we going to take down? Of course, wickets in hand are important, and Kent have a full stack at the moment. The likes of Crawley and Billings, Denley and Benjamin and co. Ready to come in and give it a bit of long handle if necessary. So these two doing their job. It will just be about pacing this run chase and still looking to hit your boundaries if you get the opportunity. Looking to score off every ball. From a fielding perspective, it is just every dot. Just looking to get 1 or 2 dots and over, not concede the boundaries. You can get an over, a couple of overs in a 5, 6, push that rate up to above 10, and all of a sudden the big strokes start coming out and wickets can fall.
Just for 2 there.
Yeah, Finch wants 2. He's got a nice angle on that, wide of long on.
Really feeling like the overs from the pavilion end will just take us at least in this middle part to see how far along we're going to get in this game, because I have a feeling we're going to get into a bit of a pattern against Dawson at this end, Macton Road end, where Kent batters will probably look to just lean on him a bit touch and not give him too much. So it makes these overs from the likes of Fuller all the more important. Nicely timed, but straight at mid-wicket. Weatherly there, doing the fielding.
It's a 5 off. Useful dot for the Hawks. Feels like an important delivery, this.
Hooked. Be just the 1, 6 off it. That's 2 tidy overs in a row for the Hawks coming out the power play.
Time for the vitality blast. Scatter blast.
You can see those running around, chucking the t-shirts.
Yeah, a little bit of t-shirts, t-shirt action thrown into the crowd. There they go. That's all you're getting. 4 t-shirts.
Yeah.
Times are tough. All right, so here's Dawson. A couple of overs, conceding 6. Just push the run rate up to 8.8. Challenge here will be, can they find a boundary off Dawson? Is it a reverse sweep past those 2 men behind square? Is it a slog sweep to the leg side? Do you take that on?
I was just thinking about the reverse option. I'm not really too sure if I've seen these 2 play it before.
Well, I think they both have it in their locker if they needed to, but it's a high tariff shot with 2 men behind square, particularly on a wicket where the odd one's dying and the odd one's kind of skidding low. They're better off just playing orthodox strokes and taking a lot of pace off Dawson. I think of him traditionally of firing it through flat, but he's a canny operator. He knows the surfaces to fizz it in, and he knows when to hold it back. Not a big wicket taker for the Hawks. I think mainly because people recognise that they want to minimise risk against him. So Yorkshire, Friday night, kept him down to 155. He was 6 overs for 23, wicketless, but just doing his job.
Well, he's going for 7s this season. One of the best in the comp.
It is beautifully bowled. Just held it back. All young spinners wanting to know how to bowl in one-day cricket. He'd be a good man to look at. He's not a massive turner of the ball, but he can bowl it quickly into the surface. He can just hold it back with a bit of flight. Just that one felt like it never quite got to Daniel Bell-Drummond. Same again here as Bell-Drummond sweeps hard into the leg side. But fielder's back there, and it's just the single. So excellent over from Dawson. Just 4 off it. Pressure just beginning to build.
I haven't had this confirmed, but I think in what doesn't come as too much of a surprise, I don't think Hilton Cartwright is out here, because I think who just collected that was all going by the numbers on the back. But I'm still desperate to find out exactly what happened with Cartwright.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, Hilton Cartwright dug a ball out to deep cover, set off for a run, and it looked like something had popped. He ended up falling flat on his face and crawling to the non-striker's end. And it looked like Achilles or calf or hamstring, or take your pick. It didn't look good. And then a couple of minutes later, he was up and dancing around.
Fuller to continue from the pavilion end. Again, I think these are the overs that Kent batters are really going to have to look to target. The more I think about it, the more canny I think it is that they brought on Dawson from this end. It's just dried up, which has been the most valuable end this short.
Yeah, I mean, it's
side.
difficult to know. James Fuller bowling here, off-pace deliveries into the pitch, giving no width. It's like, where are you going to hit your boundaries? I think over mid-wicket is probably your best chance. Because you're not going to have the pace to work with on a sluggish pitch to hit him through the offside or over mid-off. And you're going to have that slightly kind of baseball-y hoik to the leg side. It's the big boundary, but there's a big pocket between long on and the deep square, who's about 20 yards in front of square. So the Cowdrey stand, top left of screen, is kind of where I'd be thinking. If you just slightly back of a length, that's what I'm looking to go. That just tells you what I'm talking about. It's an absolute load of nonsense. What a great shot that is from Harry Finch. To be fair, from Fuller, that was too full. It was on pace, it was a half volley, and he nailed it down the ground.
Finch needed that.
Yeah, it was just a bit wide at mid-off as well, but that is not what Vince wants Fuller to bowl. That's a cracking shot.
First boundary since the power play. Pressure was mounting there for Kent. Just need to keep it in and around this rate, as you mentioned before. This game is really a spell from Dawson and co. Giving himself space. And again, not quite reaching the fielder. Dawson down there. That long on. Predicting it's just the single. But I think you are right about, especially Finch attacking that Colin Cowdrey stand. We know he likes to use his feet. There's a good whip through the ball. That is an area that he can attack. And put down. Bell-Drummond. He was going for that mid-wicket area to the Colin Cowdrey stand. Instead gets too much bottom hand heads out. Is that Tristan Stubbs out there? Number 30, I think.
Yeah, it's Stubbs.
Goodness, some of the safest hands you would have thought, but he's put him down.
Yep, you're right. He's just trying to target that pocket that we were talking about, and he just got it a little bit square. Picked out Stubbs. He'd hit it pretty hard, to be fair. When he first connected, I thought shot going to go for 4, but yeah, dragged it a touch, and Stubbs, it was straight at him. But you've still got to catch him. No, big let off for Daniel Bell-Drummond. Good finish to the over from James Fuller. Could have had a wicket. Finishes it with a dot.
And halfway now, 10 overs for 83 for none, requiring another 94, but also no wicket.
Yep, it's pretty much a 50-50 ball game at the moment. I think Hampshire were 98 for 1 off 10. 97 for 1 maybe. I remember them being just shy of 100 at the halfway stage. So kind of got a little bit of work to do. The rate's up to 9.4. Just wonder whether someone's going to go for Dawson. It's a risky ploy, or whether they've just said, no, we just take him at 6s and we'll go at the other end. Bell-Drummond might feel, having had that reprieve, that it's his day. He does go.
It's gone.
And he's 6.
That's his 50 up, first of the season for Bell-Drummond. Terrific shot.
So big let off the previous delivery. Tristan Stubbs putting him down off James Fuller. And Daniel Bell-Drummond has gone, okay, you're going to drop me, I'm going to make you pay. 30 balls, 5 4s, 2 6s, and he brings it up with that maximum. And he does take on Liam Dawson to the short boundary. Good thing about that was he just waited for the right one. Dawson is so canny. That's the first time he's landed on that length. He's bowled that slightly slower one that has landed right in the slot for the slog sweep. And he hasn't hesitated. Plenty of conviction about it. That's the quicker one. They're appealing for LBW. The umpire doesn't want a piece of it. I think he felt it might have been... Oh no, he is going to signal leg byes, I think. So, yeah, Dawson cannot believe this. We'll have a little look at the replay. Our director can fire that up. But he is incredulous, the left-arm spinner. He's fired it in fast. Here we go. I think he's outside the line. Yeah. All the histrionics. I think it would have hit off stump, but I think he got across. It would have been outside the line when it struck him, so good decision. That is Daniel Bell-Drummond doing what he does best, using those fantastic wrists. On-pace delivery. Say on pace, he's a spinner, of course, but a quicker, flatter delivery. And he just opened the blade and ran it for 4. So 6 and the boundary in this over. Good one for Kent. And how Tristan Stubbs must be ruining that drop catch. He's gone again, Daniel Bell-Drummond. He could be in trouble this time. Slog sweep taken. So maybe just one big shot too many. He'd already hit a 6 and a 4 in the over. Possibly didn't need to go again. Just thinking that maybe he's got the better of the left arm spin of Liam Dawson, but he's a canny customer and he gets his revenge. Still decent effort from the club captain. 54 of just 34, striking at just shy of 160. 6 4s, 2 6s. But he has gone. Tristan Stubbs will be feeling ever so slightly better about grassing the one in the last over. Spitfires 95 for 1.
Yeah, terrific knock that from Bell-Drummond. His best of the season so far. He set up this Kent chase superbly. Unfortunately, We have given one now to Dawson. It was as we were starting to feel seem a bit more comfortable against him, and that's what happens. That brings out incredibly talented Zach Crawley. I think Kent just needs to be mindful here not to lose any clusters here. They're still ahead of the rate and still, I'm pretty sure, yeah, ahead of DLS pretty comfortably. So, I think you mentioned earlier, just give yourself a few balls on this wicket, get yourself in. And also a reminder that Dawson only has one more after this. Crawley able to use his elongated stretch to get that quite comfortably near the full, and off the mark he is. 9-6-4 off 11. Kent the happier side?
Yeah, I think so. I think Kent are nicely placed. I don't think this is in any way a foregone conclusion, as well as they bowled in the second half, with Grant Stewart taking that 4 for 32. Seemed pretty pivotal at the time, but I felt that 176 is slightly above par on this particular surface. I'd say generally you're looking at 180 plus here at the Spitfire ground, but it feels like a difficult surface if the bowlers hit the length. And they have from time to time, but they probably haven't been as consistent as they'd like, and that's credit to the Kent batters. Got
Curry back on. Pavilion end. Crawley just making his way into the innings. Now, what's the role of Finch here? Is he just the bat through, or is now with Belldrummond out, is the onus now on him?
Well, what you don't want to do on a surface like this is open both ends up, so Finch doesn't need to do anything reckless here. It's well bowled. And you can see there that kind of back of a length and straight. It's not easy to handle, and Finch has been in for a little while now. He's 35 off 32, and all the while Belldrummond was going nicely. Finch's tempo's fine, but yeah, you get out now, 35 off 32, and 2 new batters, and suddenly it's advantage Hampshire. So you've just got to find a way of keep ticking the scoreboard over. But well bowled, Scott Curry. And this is when you've got to try and just watch the ball and trust your game. Harry Finch will be thinking pretty hard here. He knows he's just a couple of dot balls, new batter, rate climbs. But he also knows if he throws it away here, the game has most definitely changed in Hampshire's favour. So that is exactly what he has to do. He wants to get Zach Crawley on strike a lot so he can get in quickly. By the same token, if you get a ball to hit to the fence, you do so.
It's been a good over this from Curry. Very tidy. It's the 2 off. Push for 2. He has to get the dive in. Comfortably home as Albert, I think, misses the bails. Missed 100 up for Kent. 12:01. Just completion of.
Yeah, good running. Zach Crawley very quick between the wickets. Those long legs, there's only 5 or 6 strides. He's down the other end. So worked that well in the gap, and that is the advantage of that big boundary. From a batting perspective, it works in the fielder's favour in terms of protecting the boundary, but you've got to just position yourself to try and stop 2, and Crawley got that one slightly in the gap and made his mind up, and he got back.
Well, Vince is holding back Dawson's final over. He's taking a blow there after getting the wicket of Belldrummond, and it's going to be the equally canny Chris Wood to replace him at the Nacton Road end.
Yeah, good captaincy. Never like bowling bowlers out, especially my better bowlers. always nice as a skipper to have options, different tools and weapons at your disposal, and as soon as you bowl him out, Liam Dawson, almost just a psychological aspect as well, knowing that he's going to come back in at some point. Zach Crawley wanted a wide there. Have a bowling from Wood.
Rate approaching 10 now. Still not insurmountable for Kent. It's something to keep in mind of, especially as you say with Dawson. Another one to go.
I mean, the counter argument is that when you bring your spinner back later, where the risk and reward element, you know, teams are going to take him on, and there is a short boundary, and he is bowling spin. Yes, he's Liam Dawson, and he's very experienced, but he's a left-arm spinner who doesn't spin it much, as canny as he is, with a short leg side boundary. So if he comes back in like the 18th, 19th, you're going to be trying to pongo him. So he'll probably just have an over or two off, and he'll be back before too long.
I wonder if he will go from the pavilion end for his last one.
Yeah, he might do. Or it might be a case of Vince just thinking, get one of these two out.
Brings Billings, though.
Yeah, he's got a good reverse sweep on him as well, and that just changed things. We haven't seen much in the way of reverse sweeps, have we, today?
Change of pace again, and a big slash from Crawley. Pressure building here in Crawley.
Yeah, you can see a bit of premeditation here. Finchy just having a word with Zach. As experienced an international player as he is, Zach Crawley, most of his success has been in red ball cricket. He has played some very fine white ball innings. He has a T20 100, of course, against his opposition. He's gone. So, a bit of a swing across the line, and Chris Wood has his man. So, yes, he's got 100 against this opposition in this format. It was down in Southampton, but Chris Wood has had his number there. A couple of plays and misses, and then he cleans him up. Crawley gone for 4. Spitfires lose their second, 101 for 2.
Yeah, you probably won't want to look back on that one, Zach. Wood was all over him in that over, but that does bring out the skipper, Sam Billings, who's been in rare touch in this blast campaign. Almost 300 runs, averaging over 55. Played really well against the Knots. 5 6s Friday night.
Yeah, he's getting his runs at a good tempo. I always think when Sam Billings starts, generally goes to the runner ball for his first 10 or 11. Busy between the wickets in terms of his running, bat on ball, hits the gaps, and then once he's in, he's got all the strokes. But we saw that, didn't we? Premeditation. Zach Crawley twice tried to get across and slog sweep to the leg side. Chris Wood has seen all that before. I just think Zach's such a talented player, hits the ball so hard, but actually just plays strong cricket shots. Easy game from here when you've been retired 20 years, but when you've got his talent and you hit such a long ball, you know that if he gets in, he can take anyone down. But as you say, it's not altogether bad, because you've got the man who's in probably the best touch of the lot here, in the skipper, in at forward. You've still got plenty of batting to come, so there is the counter argument would be, well, you know, you might as well, with wickets in hand, take on the short boundary. If it comes off, great. If it doesn't, plenty of others can do their thing. And was flicked down to long leg by Billings, very wristily.
Yeah, Fuller coming on for his last. In a bit of a precarious position here for Kent, and Finch, who's been in there from the start. You think the overs to come going to be pretty tough. This one you'd be looking under normal circumstances to attack, but perhaps after those two pretty quick wickets, looking to set another platform, but can't take too long about it. Well, that's premeditation there for you, isn't it? Don't even think Fuller had started his run up when he was in the position to play the little sweep.
Yeah, it was a slower ball. I think whether it was always going to be a slower ball or whether he just got down so early that Fuller thought, well, if he's trying to hit it behind him, I'll just take all the pace off and limit the damage, because he was never going to be able to flick that for 4. It was too slow.
Pushing for 2 again. Billings is quick, extremely quick. Comes back easily.
So another couple for Harry Finch. You're right, Sam Billings is quick, and that's the advantage of hitting the sweeper hard. We talked about that long off position being really wide, and Billings, as soon as Finch hit that, he was off.
Gone again like that. This time he's gone a bit later, but the on-speed delivery doesn't get hold of it.
Yes, interesting option, because fine leg is back. It's quite wide, which is probably why he's attempting that. He knows on-pace delivery, if he middles it and gets it fine, he can get a boundary. But, Billings also attempting that stroke. Could get a couple, just a shout of catch as Albert had to dive to his left. Couldn't quite claw it in. So interesting options these. So you're trying to move that fielder. If Ben Mays, who's down there at fine leg, goes finer, opens up that square leg angle.
And Vince changing the field now.
Yeah, prompts a field change. So Chris Wood's going across to 45. Mays is going squarer. So if anything, this makes this option perhaps even more likely, because you can get it over that fielder, you get 4.
That's the end of Fuller's spell. 4 overs, 32. Circumstances pretty tidy.
Yeah, decent that. 8 and over. Always look at what's required. And actually, you know, from the outset, it was more than 8.5. So if you're going at 8s, you're kind of doing your job, aren't you?
And he's probably the one bowler that you'd say has the tendency, who could be a bit expensive. So I think Vince will be happy with that.
This is interesting now. Sonny Baker, very talented bowler, international of course. We've seen him in white ball cricket on debut. He got thumped by Aidan Markram, but showed a lot of courage and puffed his chest out, kept charging in, and we saw him at the Oval last week, 10 days ago in the Test. So very talented, but pace on this surface, as we saw earlier when Daniel Bell-Drummond got hold of him a couple of times. Might be good news for Billings. And that is messy from Albert again. Talked about his pedigree as a keeper. It's, I don't think, an easy deck to keep on, in the sense that some are staying low and some are coming through at different paces, but He didn't stand up to the likes of Chris Wood when Finch was advancing, and he's just let that one slip through.
You have the cojones for it. I imagine Baker is the one to try and lap now. No one down. Hampshire.
Lovely shot. And a good sound off the bat, and Billings will get 2. Finch had to hurry, but he got there.
Lovely looking shot, that.
Really nice shot, and that's the advantage of having that bit of pace on the ball. It will just, even on this sluggish surface, just come onto the bat a bit better. So Billings was so comfortably home at the non-striker's end. I'm just going to watch to see how early he leaves his crease.
Again.
How about again, buys? Yeah. This is costing Hampshire at the moment. The thing is, because Baker's quite quick and Albert's quite deep, any kind of misfield, he's 20-odd yards away. It's like being on the edge of the ring, so they'll always get one. And as if to compound that Hampshire misery, Sam Billings has played a glorious lap. You said if you have the cojones for it, Baker could be the man. Well, Cameron Emmanuel Burns has called that exactly right. Got down early, used the pace of Baker and flicked it over fine leg. And we've seen the error from the keeper, got Billings back on strike, and that is a cracking shot from the skipper.
Just continuing his form throughout this competition. But not to hark back onto it, those mistakes from Albert, that's allowed Billings to get back onto strike.
Yep, absolutely. Those little things, we saw it earlier, didn't we, with a misfield early when Hampshire were batting.
He's gone again.
Gone again, and he's got a good piece of this as well. I think it's gone all the way. Just waiting for the signal from the umpire. And it is 6 again, so back-to-back 6s from Sam Billings. A little bit of magic from the captain. I must say, James Vince would have played against Sam Billings hundreds of times, and you know he's got that in his locker. Fine leg is going back now. He's probably going back 2 balls too late. Make Sam Billings hit the ball through the offside,
Especially with Baker's pace.
Baker's pace, you know, I remember him at the Oval in a tied game, I think 50 over game, in a 300 plus game. I think it was a 50 over game, might have been a blast game, but he slog swept Stuart Meeker, who was bowling 90 miles an hour, and he put him into the stands twice with a slog sweep. So as quick as Baker is, he's going to hold no fear for Sam Billings. So this is a better field, although it's still risky because square leg is up. So expect him to maybe shuffle across and drop kick in. It's wide.
So a bit ragged here. Extras in this over, the buys, the wide now. Yeah, Billings for me, I always recall shots he's hit over what was the Lime Tree Cafe, getting down on one leg to the seamers. We saw obviously earlier Weatherly tried to do that, didn't quite come off against the seam, but we know Billings has that in his locker.
Yeah, what he does really well, he kind of gets down, he moves quickly and late, but he's very still, and he can still adjust to the length that he gets.
Again.
Yeah. If I'm Vince, whilst this is frustrating, you know that you don't want to give Sam Billings that ball on the stumps that he can flick over square leg. So you take a couple of wides if you can jam him up just outside off stump.
goodness. Crowd are loving this.
Yeah, they can be pretty merciless, the Kent crowd. Win this in wides is what they'll be saying. So, yeah, Baker slightly rattled here, and we kind of sense that bringing him back in, particularly from this end. You know, we talked about the leg side. You know, if he's bowling from the other end, that pace on, you suddenly got to flick him up the hill into the breeze. Yeah. Different ball game. So everything at this ground wants to go down towards the Oriole Lime Tree Cafe, and with Baker's pace and Billings' ability to flick it there, I think a couple of errors from the Hampshire skipper.
And somehow it's gone down to where
still got it down to his favourite area.
Not really sure how.
So that concludes a very expensive over from Sonny Baker. Might have seen the last of him.
I think that's 20.
Yeah, 3 overs now for 33. His first one was a good one. So that over has brought the required rate back down under 10s. It's now 9.2. You'd say, with 8 wickets in the shed and Billings in the form he's in, very much advantage Spitfires. Billings is 18 off 8. Finch 44 off 40, playing the anchor role. But here we go, here's Dawson, and you're right, just a switch of ends. I still would have gone Dawson from this end and Baker from the other end, because what Billings has got is a very fine reverse sweep, which he likes to employ batting at this end. So I expect that to come out here.
Fancy, this is a big over, isn't it? You imagine Billings will target Dawson.
He also might just look to bunt it into the leg side and get a 2. Yeah, the reverse sweep always on the cards, and if I'm honest, I don't like it. I don't like it because you know if you're Liam Dawson that's going to happen.
It's going down, it's going down.
It's the pace he bowls it, the fact he knows you're probably going to do it. He's got some answers.
Oh gosh, this over. This is such important 4 balls.
If you're Billings and you've got that delivery again, and I say it's easy going from here, who might tell Sam Billings how to bat? But you just knock that into the leg side, maybe get back for 2. If you take Dawson for 6 or 7, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Curry, you've got Baker, you've got maybe an over of Wood, and I think you can win it that way.
Nicely struck, just the one. Yeah, but I'm certainly in agreement.
Having said that, they probably reverse sweep 2 straight through this gap.
Yeah.
I'll say genius.
Straight into our tent. We wouldn't mind that. Yes. Oh, he's cleared him.
Hit it for 6. Hit it for 6. The reverse. And that is what he can do. And that he got the one he wanted. He got the off-pace delivery. And again, Liam Dawson, why he's just firing that in at the block hole. You know he's going to probably try and do it. Nearly had him LBW first ball. He might go again. Go block hole. There he goes.
Oh, he's got it.
He's got it. That's a better shot. That is a better shot because it was the quicker, flatter one. He's got that for 4, and Sam Billings, who's been in rare touch this season in the blast, leading Kent to victory here with some brilliant improvisation. Couple of flick 6s off Sonny Baker, and now he's doing it to Liam Dawson. The reverse sweep is so difficult for spinners.
Lovely.
And that I like.
That's my favourite of the lot.
That I like. Just taking control. Brilliant batting. Pulled the rate down to 8. He's 29 off 12.
Well, you said the game was really going to be when Dawson's came on, and he got the wicket, of course, Bell Drummond, but he's gone for 33. I'd say Kent have played that magnificently in the end.
The second shot he reversed for 4 was a fantastic shot because that was the quicker, flatter Yorker delivery. The one he bowled slowly I made that a poor option from Dawson, because actually if you think about it, he's so good with his reverse sweep, it's like he's left-handed. So if you're talking about matchups, you wouldn't bowl a slow, loopy left-arm spinner to a left-hander because you just get slog swept for 6. So Billings, when he reverses, is like being a left-hander. So you have to keep the pace on and jam it in the block hole.
And that's what gave him the time to get underneath.
Yeah,
that
got
ball.
underneath it and lofted it for 6. The second one was the quicker, flatter one, and that was a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to do. If you're reverse sweeping, you've got to be able to hit any ball that comes your way. You've got the slower one, you've got the faster one, you've got the back of the length one, you've got the Yorker. You've got to be able to hit them all. Because if you miss, you can be out.
Wood now. I think Billings has got that one as well. Down the ground. Lovely shot for 4 once more from Billings. The skipper's on the charge here.
We are seeing the very best of Sam Billings here.
This whole season.
He's been brilliant. He has been brilliant. And I think what I love about him is how he's developed his game. He's always had those leg side flicks and tricks. But that shot over mid-off, I remember when he got his 100 here against Somerset, where he hit so many straight. Batting actually from the other end largely, but found the boundaries when he needed them.
Could be 2. Yep, pushing hard. Superb work from this pair. Billings again. Just stabbing that into the gap. Kent 150 up. Crowd getting right involved here. But I think Billings has also taken a bit more responsibility this year. He's moved himself up to 4. He's down at 5, sometimes even going a bit lower at times. I really like this. Close again, this time it will just be the 1. Because we also we know how strong he is against spin. So being that one step up before you normally imagine that position you're coming in that 8, 9, 10 over mark when the spin's on.
Yeah, and that's the only other thing you'd say about, the Liam Dawson when he bowled 3, should he have bowled another 1? He's come on and he's bowled Kent's best player of spin when he could have bowled, Finch, Crawley, who were still pretty decent players, don't get me wrong, but he's been brought back perhaps at the wrong time. Gone. So that is the end of Harry Finch. He's done his job. Just a bit better than a run of ball. 45 off 43. But all the while, the likes of Bell Drummond and Billings have played as they have at the other end. Harry Finch could anchor things, and he's done that quite nicely. But is there a twist? Because if they were to get Billings now, a couple of new batters, Hampshire, you just never know, but very much advantage. Kent 26 to win off 20. The experienced Joe Denley coming to the crease. Can sometimes take a couple of balls to get going, but you think these two been there, seen it, done it, got the t-shirt.
And they've done it together a number of times. That's the second batter to get out in that fashion to Wood. Looking to get down and sweep him. Yeah,
I think you opt for that because you think Chris Wood's that kind of pace where you can actually sweep him, but what he does really well is he gets the Yorkers in. Very difficult to sweep a seamer, particularly from the left arm over angle, if they get it very full in the block hole.
Again, he's only got 2 balls left in his spell.
With a heave from Denley, but gets the run that gets Billings back on strike.
So you imagine it's going to be 2 from Curry and 1 from Baker to finish off. Your Billings, I'm sure you wouldn't mind being around for that Baker over once more.
Yep. I would imagine fine leg will be back though.
You would think so.
It's like they're petrified of coming straight to him, because if they come straight to him, he'll just sweep them and whack them over the leg side. So you're trying to hit that wide line. Billings has gone, yeah, we'll take that one, thank you.
I do think that's correct though from the Hampshire bowlers. We've seen all throughout how strong he is when he gets down and sweeping, especially with this short boundary.
Tell you what, I don't know if Al doesn't need to be disrespectful, but it's like he's got a couple of symbols there, not a couple of little wicket-keeping gloves. He's panned a lot, hasn't he? Not easy, to be fair. It's slightly low bounce, and
he's had a tough day.
He's had a tough day because
yeah.
he's a very fine cricketer.
Yeah.
And didn't quite get going. Never easy when James Vince is smoking it to all parts and you're not quite finding the middle. He's slightly like the junior partner in all senses, but
I have that most weeks. Not with James Vince, mind you. That'd be nice.
No,
but
that'd be nice. The honour would be all his.
Yeah.
But you think when Billings got going in that Baker over, you know, he hit those 2 sixes immediately after the bye. Here's Curry, and that is what a shot
from
Joe Denley. Welcome to the party. A man who used to stroll in at the top of the order, or 3. He's now just, you know, in later life, just coming in at 5 and launching a quick bowler effortlessly over long off for 6. Yeah, what a shot that is. We said this pitch was difficult to time it on. A good comeback. Albert grabs this one. But not easy. I said Joe Denley sometimes likes a couple of balls just to find his tempo and the pace of the pitch, but I mean, it was, as much as it was in the slot, it's a hell of a shot over long off. Nailed this as well. Yep, you're going to get at least 2.
He's not looking to overhit the ball.
No, he's not. And I think that's the nice thing about what Billings has done, to just bring this required rate down to 6s. All of a sudden, he's taken that pressure off.
Taking the sting out of this.
Yeah, it has. There's sometimes when you need, 11, 12 and over, you grip the bat a bit hard, you tense up a bit. But Joe just struck those 2 down the ground beautifully. Just a reminder, the context of this game: Hampshire Hawks top of the group. The South group lost their first one at Taunton, won their next 6. Kent have lost their last 3. Very, very important to get the points today for the Spitfires, and so far so good. As Billings flicks again, he's got it fine, and he's going to get 4. Does anyone play that shot better?
It's superb. The fine leg is still wide.
It's like a super strength. Yeah. It's like, if I was, here's a thought for you, right? So Toby Albert is standing in a conventional wicket-keeping position, right? Why doesn't he go and stand on the circle, slightly leg side, and say, go on then, Sam Billings, I'm now on the circle? Because if it misses everything, he'll get across to it and stop it, and they'll get 1, and you get Billings at the other end. You then find an extra fielder. Effectively, your wicket keeper is almost your 45.
Did you ever employ that when you were Kent skipper?
We did some funny things. Yeah. There's a touch of maverick genius, yeah. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, he's hitting that fine, yeah, because the fine leg is at long leg. He's square.
But would you not at least move him finer then, at the very least?
If you move him finer, then there's a bigger gap square. So yes, I agree with you, because it limits the damage of that particular shot. But he's also got the ability to get a full slog sweep out. So you're trying to cover as much of that leg side boundary as you can. Yeah. Obviously, you can only have 2 behind square on the leg side. But if one of them's your keeper and you drop right back on the ring.
Here's the exciting Baker.
Sonny Baker, and the 2 men are back on the leg. Well, no, square leg is coming up, so fine leg is back.
Well,
so down to the Oriole Lime Tree Cafe, top right of screen. That is where the fine leg is going back for that little flick shot of Sam Billings. Square leg is up just behind the square leg umpire, and there is a deep mid-wicket who's quite square. So what is Baker going to do here? I think he has to target the poles, and if Billings is good enough, as he's proved so often, then so be it. But if he misses, the only way Hampshire are winning this game is if you knock Billings over and you get a bit of pressure on the new batter. So fast and straight, you either bowl him a bouncer and hope he top edges it down fine leg's throat, or you bowl at the stumps.
I think Billings is getting down on one leg regardless.
Yeah, in which case you hit the Yorker.
Nice time, that is nicely.
Yeah, it's gone to long on. I was looking for that. Didn't see it at any stage.
I'm glad I'm not fielding up there. Cultured outside edge there from Mr. Denley.
Nothing wrong with that. Eight to win. Billings needs 8 for a brilliant 50. 4-4 and walk off.
Get to his 50, that'd be nice.
He's going to get 2 here. Might even go for 4. It has, you know. It has. That was not the middle of the bat, but the hands are fast and those wrists are skillful. And bisected Ali Orr, the substitute fielder, and Scott Curry, who's at a wide long on, just kept going down the hill. Bit of wind behind, and it won the race. So
you said it 4-4.
4-4, just 4 to win it. Just want to finish 50 not out here. Don't want to get down on one knee and lose your middle stump. Game's in the bag. Just
put one knee over the lime tree.
Yeah, it looks nice, but come on.
Oh, he nicks it there instead.
There you go, nicks it for 4. Best shot in the book, and a little punch of the air from Sam Billings and a hug from his old mate Joe Denley. Plenty of experience in the middle, and the captain in the 2026 Vitality Blast campaign is leading from the front. Done it again, an extraordinary 50. 21 balls, 5 fours, 3 sixes. Improvisation very much to the fore. All the tricks and flicks and a calm head at the end as well. Sam Billings take a bow. That is one hell of a knock and a tremendous chase on a tricky surface. 177 reeled in with 8 balls to spare. Kent Spitfires win by 7 wickets and consign the Hawks to just their 2nd defeat of the campaign.
Well, incredible result. Superb from skipper Billings. I didn't want to say this at the beginning of the game, but we have a decent head-to-head record against the Hawks. We won the last 3 out of the 5, but they came into it, let's be honest, with strong favourites. But let's not forget about Grant Stewart's effort and with the ball. It was looking, when Vince was going some, there was going to be 200 odd to be facing here. 170, even so, looked a tricky chase, but in the end, Sam Billings' class 50 off 21 balls has got Kent over the line.
Yeah, extraordinary run chase by the Spitfires. Good platform laid by Harry Finch and Daniel Bell-Drummond. But just to take you back to the start of the game, yeah, brilliant innings from James Vince, all-time leading Vitality Blast run scorer, 84 of 46 balls, 12 fours, 2 sixes from him. Looked like, as Cameron was saying, they were on course for the best part of 200, but they stalled somewhat, courtesy of Grant Stewart's 4 for 32, 176 for 6 they made. And then Bell-Drummond, 54 off 34. Harry Finch playing the anchor role, 45 off 43. He would fall just before the end, but that injection from Sam Billings, a man in the very rarest touch, just 21 balls for the 50. He finished it with 4-4, 5 fours, 3 sixes, And an effortless 6 from Joe Denley as well, as the Spitfires chase that down in some style. It'll give them plenty of confidence. They have won here by 7 wickets. So all the reaction on our social media channels, but after 3 successive defeats, the Spitfires are back to winning ways. They've got a win in the championship. It's been a pretty decent cricket week for them. They have beaten the Hampshire Hawks by 7 wickets. A very delighted coach, and that is Tawanda Mayeye there as well. Bring him back into this batting lineup, and Kent will feel they can chase anything down.
Yeah, and when you look at the table, that was a crucial result. As you said, it's the top 3 or top 2 automatic, and you've got Essex and Surrey ahead on 16 points. That takes us to 14 with, what is that, 4 or 5 games left now?
Yeah, 5 games, including this one. So
yeah,
4 games, 4 games remaining.
So they probably do need, as you mentioned at the beginning of the day, well, another 3 out of the 4 wins. So that was a crucial result. Big confidence. Next home game, 10th of July, the big one against Surrey. So make sure to get your tickets and get down here and support the Spitfires as they are on their charge towards hopefully the quarterfinals and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of home games remain. 10th of July, 12th of July, it's the Friday-Sunday combo. We've seen the loss to Nottinghamshire, but a brilliant win here, and what a wonderful way to sign off Cricket Week. Decent crowd in, sunshine, and a very happy, smiles everywhere as we're seeing the crowd leave the ground. They've seen something very special here from Sam Billings and his Spitfires team. We'll join you next time. Thanks to Clubberly for supporting the stream. Spitfires have won by 7 wickets. All the post-match reaction on our social media channels. We'll see you next time.